Hi, I'm Ray.
And I'm Veronica.
And welcome to the Chick Lit Book Club podcast,
where we read a romance novel and then we talk about it. Today, we're talking about Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall.
Yay!
Yay!
And it's a double special yay night, isn't it?
It is!
Do you want to tell the listeners why it's a double special yay night?
I do!
Well, then please do, Veronica.
Okay, so tonight we have our very first podcast guest, but it's like super duper super special because it's one of our very, very best friends in the whole planet. Please, everyone, welcome Lee.
Hello.
Yay! I love the really deepness of your voice.
Well, that is because I am a man.
I was wondering, and I'm glad you cleared that up.
Well, shit. I have been really under the wrong impression for the last decade.
Yeah, I've been operating on a very different idea.
Different wavelength over there.
Yeah.
So anyway, Lee's here. He also read Boyfriend Material with us this week, and it was so much fun.
Yeah, I did. And I loved it. And I'm super excited to be here. It is truly an honor. Really, no, me. Seriously. You know, let's just get this out of the way. I think your podcast is amazing, and I love it. And maybe it's just because I know both of you so well, and I love you both, and I miss your faces, and haven't actually seen you in over a year. Really? We haven't been together in over a year.
Yeah.
So it's great to be able to play one of these suckers any moment and hear you both laugh and I'm laughing and it's like we're together. So truly, I'm grateful to be here. And I love hijacking your success. So I do.
At least you're honest. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
This is
Get you an
the
honest
highlight
man.
of my weekend. And thank you for trusting me to be on your show and make a fool of myself.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, we do that every time too, so someone else should enjoy it too. Let's see, who should start? Lee, tell me something good.
Oh my.
Oh,
Love you.
Let's see. We're doing bright lights.
What's your
right?
bright spot?
Bright spots.
Bright
I was
spot.
like, bright lights? Bright
Yeah,
spots.
we stole it from another podcast. It's
We
fine.
stole it from Knowledge Fight.
Yeah, it's fine.
Well, I would say my bright spot this week was taking a burnout day. I took a day off. It was planned.
Good for you.
I asked my bosses, because I work for a bunch of people. Sometimes I don't know who. I was like, I need this day off in 2 weeks because I'm going to be struggling, y'all. And I was on the struggle bus, and then I took Tuesday off, and it was great.
Nice. Did you do anything? Just kind of chill?
What did I do? I took a nap. I finished Boyfriend Material.
Nice.
Took some notes on it. Cooked dinner. Little things. Exercised.
Is there anything more American than like scheduling your burnout day?
Oh, this was like a first. First for me. You gotta ask for what you need.
You do. Good job, Lee.
Nice.
Way to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Veronica. Tell me something good.
You know what? I had to think about this.
Oh.
But my bright spot this week was so we were all reading this. I was the most behind, but we were all reading this book together in the past couple weeks. And on a normal basis, the three of us have a constant group chat going on. Just constant. And this week it was amped up because we were reading this book together. And as the slowest of all of us in this journey, yesterday I got to a point in the book that I just related to a lot. And I texted both of you and I was like, hey, this thing. And I like relate to it a lot. And you both texted me back and were like, yeah, we thought of you a lot while we were reading this. And I was like, shit. So My bright spot really was the group chat, but also like yesterday, just feeling super seen and validated by you two beautiful assholes, and it just, I needed that this week.
Nice.
So thank you.
Nice.
Ray.
Yes.
Tell me something good.
Well, as I was telling Lee before we started, I was having a real fucking hard time trying to figure out a bright spot. I was driving home tonight thinking, this week has been an asshole. And, what? And then Lee said, tonight can be your bright spot. And I said, yes, it can. And then I also remembered about the group chat and the name changing, and that made me laugh.
Oh my God, the fucking name.
I don't know why we never changed it before, but so one of the things in the book is that this group, the group chat that they have in the book, it's constantly, the name's constantly changing. And I was like, I wonder if we could do that with ours. And so every time we'd come up, you could tell who was where in the book because it would change to something. Like, I mean, I remember, was it yesterday or the day before? I was like, oh no, it was 2 days ago because I had finished 2 days ago. I said, oh, I got to meet baths. So I was...
when I got to meet Beth's, I was like,
yeah. So I have a feeling that will be something that we continue doing, and I am completely here for it. So
1,000%.
I mean, I would talk about Ted Lasso again. I mean, I can if you guys want me to. I can tell you again about how much fucking amazing Ted Lasso is, but I thought I'd know. Oh, God, I want to ride Jason Sudeikis' mustache. Anyhow, in that show.
Who doesn't?
I mean, okay, anyhow, so.
Love you guys.
Should we discuss this book?
Yes. Oh my God, yes. I'm so excited.
All right, so we'll be back in 2 and 2 to discuss Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall.
And we're back.
We're back.
So we're coming back, and our lovely guest, Lee, has a game for us to play.
Fun.
Yes, I do. I really hope this is okay. Veronica and Ray, I am in a position of trust deficiency because your listeners don't know me. So I thought about it real hard. That is what she said. And the only way to inspire trust really fast is by talking about sex, right? Like, I mean,
Absolutely.
so that's what is going to happen. I'm going to tell you 2 sexual vignettes in the form of trashy romance novel book cover descriptions.
Love
I
it.
can neither confirm nor deny that one, both, or neither of these experiences has happened to me.
Okay.
However, Veronica and Ray, you are our resident romance novel experts. So what we'll do after I finish reading them is I'll ask you which book you'd pick up first to read based on the description. Okay.
All right, I like it.
So, like, which one is your cup of tea?
Can we ask follow-up questions?
Okay. Perhaps. We'll see.
Okay.
I guess you don't have to answer them.
Ooh.
We could put them out to the ether and then,
Just
scream
a
into
little,
the void.
like a hanging Chad kind of thing.
A hanging Chad?
A dangling Chad.
I knew a hanging
A
Chad
pregnant
once.
Chad.
All right. Who was ready to just jump in the porn shop here?
I'm
me.
Constantly
Whoa.
in the porn shop. Hello.
Yeah. Hello. You have listened to the podcast, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
have a membership subscription. Thank you very much.
All right. So here is book cover number 1. The title is The Mile High Club, Hawaii Edition.
Nice.
Richard was just your average silver fox, steely blue eyes, a mane of silver hair, and the hardened body of a perpetual bachelor, and a pilot to boot. Richard met Lee during his midlife crisis, and their love took off like a rocket. Flying planes,
A red
wild
rocket.
nights, and happy endings were the norm. And fast lanes and thin skies, the riskier the better. But heavy turbulence threatened to divert their high-flying love affair. Would the exotic beauty of a romantic trip to Hawaii deepen their bond, or would the daredevils fly too close to the sun and stall out forever?
Oh.
Hang on. Wait, can I ask one question?
Okay.
Did you write these?
Yes.
They're so good. I really like that.
I know.
Okay. Book cover number 2. Okay, before
Okay,
you get,
okay.
before you wet your pants.
Sorry.
I mean, wow.
All right, book number 2. This is called The Professor's. The Professor is in.
Oh, yeah, he is. All right.
Me. All right, the title is The Professor is in.
Okay.
We've got. This is like on a TV show when you get the giggles and you just can't go through
Yeah.
a point. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna be stuck here. That's okay.
Professor Richmond was a specimen of 100% grade A beefcake. And while he would sit on his desk, stroking his ego in Psych 102, Lee would secretly fantasize about stroking something else. Never one to draw attention to himself in class. I want to read this book, y'all. Lee was stunned when, after graduation, Professor Richmond contacted him. They quickly advanced the conversation into carnal terrain. One thing led to another, which led to ringing Lee's bell all night long at a motel room.
Okay. I'm listening.
Let's just say what Dr. Richmond lacked in size, he made up for with a PhD in sex and a libido to rival Eros. Will a one-night stand turn into a Freudian wet dream? Or will Lee's moving away to grad school bring an end to a summer fling?
Oh my god.
I am.
Okay. Resident romance experts. Which one do you think you'd want to read?
Okay, well, I'll go. I'm going to go number 2 just because it would be fulfilling of a fantasy that I had for a professor government. So I'm thinking about it. I went there, my brain.
Nice.
Yeah. He was 25 and I was 22.
I mean, it's not even a. Sometimes that's hard. Like that's what she said.
I wish
like,
it was.
but like college,
Yeah.
that's such a gray area.
Yeah. Anyhow. Yeah, I'm going to go number 2, baby.
I'm gonna go with number 1 actually.
Ooh. Do I have to write both of these books now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You certainly do.
And we are going to help you publish it, obviously,
Yeah.
and promote it. And then you're
Yep.
going to come back on to, promote it on the podcast. That's what's
Yes,
gonna happen.
exactly.
Okay.
So, just book those in advance.
The circle of life.
Now, can we ask questions?
Sure, why not?
Will you confirm that at least one of those happened to you?
At
Will your mom ever
at
speak
least
to you
one of
again?
those happened to me, yes.
Did they both happen to you?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to guess number 2.
I'm gonna guess number 1.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
But I guess we will never find out.
We will never know.
You will never know.
I like that. I like
I do
that, though.
too.
Also,
Those were very well written.
yeah, I'm going to have you write all the descriptions for the episodes. from
Okay.
now on.
Yeah, just so you know. And
but-
also, I may have you write my book description. So there's that.
Yeah. I also don't. That would be interesting. I don't know how many book covers have wet dream wording on it.
Oh,
though.
well, they're not like, it's not what you're going to find at the Walmart, okay? Or is it?
Maybe
I
it
don't know.
is. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't see why not.
I mean, hey. Well,
I very much enjoyed that.
I did too. I very
good.
much. I hope I'm assuming the listeners did too.
I would
Well,
imagine so.
if I could cut through the laughing.
The laughing
That
made it better. for me.
Yeah, yeah. So, how does this relate to the book that we read?
Gay.
I didn't get. Was that a gay or a yay? Wasn't sure.
Guh with a guh.
Guh. Got it.
The
Hard.
gays.
Yeah.
I was just
Kind of glottal G.
setting up the theme for the night. Yeah.
Setting up a
Exciting.
room. Got it. All right. So we read Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. Who wants to do the summary? Y'all
Do you want to do it, Ray? Just in case I start coughing.
Sure.
Dearest listeners, I have a cold. Because, of course I do. Now that the weather is improving.
Yeah. So, wanted. One fake boyfriend. Practically perfect in every way. Luke O'Donnell is tangentially and reluctantly famous. His rock star parents split when he was young, and the father he's never met spent the next 20 years cruising in and out of rehab. Now that his dad's making a comeback, Luke's back in the public eye, and one compromising photo is enough to ruin everything. To clean up his image, Luke has to find a nice, normal relationship. Oh, I'm saying his name wrong, aren't I?
It's fine.
Luke. And Oliver Blackwood is as nice and normal as they come. He's a barrister, an ethical vegetarian, and he's never inspired a moment of scandal in his life. In other words, perfect boyfriend material. Unfortunately, apart from being gay, single, and really, really in need of a date for a big event, Luke and Oliver have nothing in common. So they strike a deal to be publicly friendly, fake boyfriends until the dust has settled. Then they can go their separate ways and pretend it never happened. But the thing about fake dating is that it can feel a lot like real dating. And that's when you get used to someone. Start falling for them. Don't ever want to let them go. There you go. Let's all do a sigh.
I just have heart eyes.
Oh.
We're all heart emoji right now.
We are. Every single one of us.
Yeah, I think we all can say hard eyes, Oliver Blackwood.
Oh my God. It's problematic for so many reasons. For me, at least.
I mean, well, as we do, in case you're our first-time listener, welcome. But what we can do on this show is we do a compliment sandwich. That means that we start and end the conversation, the main conversation, with a positive, our buns. And then the cons, or things we might have cared as much for, are the meat. And sometimes that will be a big giant burger, or sometimes it will be a grilled cheese sandwich, depending on the book.
Tonight it's bacon exclusively.
Yes.
That's right.
It's just a matter of how much bacon.
So, who would like to go first with their first pro?
Darling Lee, guest first.
Okay, I can start. But before I do, I have to issue a disclaimer, and that is, while I am an avid reader, as you know, what your listeners do not know is that I do not read this genre very much. So, just to give you like a little preview, the book I read before Boyfriend Material was a biography on George Washington by Ron Chernow. So I'm obviously not an expert in this arena, and I am basing my opinions coming to this book as a book, not a romance novel. It's just a book to me.
But are you a
Does that make sense?
But
Yes.
are you a sexpert?
Oh, I might be. In some ways.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I love that it's a different perspective. And another thing that our listeners won't know about Lee is that he has a journalism background. And so he's kind of into... He's like really good at editing, but also like breaking down a story. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, the red pen gives me a boner, y'all. So basically, I'm just an opinionated homosexual who happens to know your beloved podcast host. Those are my qualifications for being here. Thank you very much.
You know what? Those are the best ones. You're hired.
Those are the only qualifications you need.
Check.
Oh, it looks like you met all of them. Good. Great.
And done. Check,
Yeah.
check,
So
check.
my top bun is Luke's mother.
Yes.
Luke's mother is so funny. She is so funny. And I loved the scene where Oliver meets Luke's mom on the stoop at her house. I think she lives there with Judy. Did I read that right?
I think, does
Judy's
Judy
just
live
there.
there? Or
I don't
she's
think
there
so.
a lot?
I think she's
friends.
just there. Yeah, she's
Okay.
just there a lot.
It was just the timing and like how Luke's mom was just like, it was all her Frenchy puns and how like things get lost in translation. It was just hysterical. I was
Yes.
just like, oh my God, this is so funny. So that was a laugh out loud moment. And she's also responsible for the most real moment, I thought, in the whole story when they're all watching the drag race. And Oliver's like, I don't get it. Like, why? What's the big deal? So I'm gonna save that quote for the quotes. But
You can do it now.
Yeah, we kind of
Okay.
We combined them. You
yeah.
can do it now.
Well, then I have to find it in my book. Oh my gosh.
Sorry. Well, I can tell you that like around page 200 is when all this is happening. 203,
Yeah.
204, because I have quotes from that.
I do too. Yeah.
So I did have it. It's she says to Luke, she says, "Where I'm going with this, Monkanaton, which is my duckling." She calls Luke his duckling, her duckling. Is that I don't give a shit. It is my curry, and I will make it the way I fucking well want to. And that is the way Oliver should live his life, because the people who matter will love you anyways. And I just love that. I thought that was so real. You know, let's just cut the bullshit and just live our lives. And it was after that moment that Oliver and Luke kind of, sort of think of their fake relationship as maybe it could be something more. That's how I saw that.
Yeah.
That's so nice. I do. I love his mom so much. So much. And
Yeah.
she is very funny. I
Yeah.
totally agree. Yeah. I have some quotes if you want to talk more about that.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. So why don't you go ahead?
Okay, so they have like this whole conversation before she even lets them in the house. Like they're kind of on the stoop for a little bit. And she automatically likes him, likes Oliver, I mean. And Luke says, I can't believe you're trying to pimp me out to a complete stranger because you like his jumper. He could be a serial killer. And for people like Americans who may not know British slang, jumper is sweater, basically. Like, I like his sweater. I'm not, says Oliver quickly, just for the record. She glared at me. It is the principle. Even if he is a serial killer, he should still want to go out with you. To reiterate, said Oliver, I am not a serial killer. That does not answer my question. I want to know what is wrong with my son that you are only willing to pretend to go out with him. I mean, look at him. He's lovely. A bit untidy, I suppose, and his nose is a little bit large. But you know what they say about men with big noses. Oliver gave a little cough. They make good sommeliers? Exactement. Also, they have big penises. Mom, I exploded. I am 28. You have got to stop embarrassing me in front of boys. I'm not being embarrassing. I'm saying nice things. I said that you have a big penis. Everybody loves a big penis. Luke says, stop saying penis. It's just a word, Luke. Don't be so English. I raised you better than that. She turned to Oliver. Luke's father, you know, he had a huge penis. To my horror, Oliver got the kind of thoughtful look you never want your boyfriend to get over your dad's dick. Had. What's happened to it since? She says, I don't know, but I like to think that either the drug shriveled it up or it got squeezed into nothing by a groupie's vagina.
That is a image.
Love her.
That entire exchange just sent me. I mean, I was like crying with laughter.
Seriously, every time, it's like at the beginning with the curry, or he's like, my asshole can't take the curry. But when they show up, and so mine is when they get there. I mean, I got a ton of Odile quotes, but he is not a fake man. I said, I sat upright so abruptly, I twisted the cushion half off the sofa. He's a real man. Is he even really a gay? Probably you're going to fall for him, and then it's going to turn out he's engaged to this Duke, and you're going to have to go and try and steal him away from the Duke, and the Duke will try to have you killed, and he will have consumption and try to make you think he doesn't love you when really he does. Mom, is that Moulin Rouge? It could happen. I'm not saying there will be singing, but I'm worried this fake gay will break your heart. I put my head in my hands. Can you please stop using gay as a noun? First, I am not meant to use it as a pejorative. Now I am not meant to use it as a noun. This is very hard for me. Love it.
She is fabulous.
Like you're
She
right.
is.
You're right, though, Lee. It's part of it too. Is the misspeaking with the
Like,
English.
lost in translation.
Yeah.
At one point, she says like cutting hairs when she really means splitting hairs.
Yeah.
Chopping. I think it's chopping. Now you are chopping
yeah.
hairs.
You were chopping hairs.
What I did have a question though, because it comes up. Did I make a note of it? I'm trying to think. There was shoot, where did I put it? Hold on, I have a lot of notes. So Queer Comes the Sun. Anyhow, I just saw that.
Loved that one. That was one of the titles of the group chat. Queer Comes the Sun. I think that was the first one.
Yeah. Okay, so here it is. It's between the two of them. If left unchecked, Mom could talk about reality TV basically forever. Unfortunately, with actually 69 and friends buzzing around my head like internet hornets, my attempt to check her came out as, I got papped yesterday. Oh, baby, again, I'm sorry. My own shrug was very non-Gaelic. I don't know what that means. What's a Gaelic or Gaelic shrug? Do you guys know?
Because he brings that up a couple times.
Yeah, I don't. Probably should have looked
Should
up
we Google
what that.
it?
Googs it.
We have
It's
the
just
Google
a-
box at our fingertips.
Oh,
Literally.
it's actually a saying.
Really?
Yeah, French are typically French. A Gaelic shrug. Gaelic shrug.
Gaelic.
Yeah, I don't.
So what is how is it different than like a?
Oh, there's a video. I can tell you. Oh, it's that. Could you see that? Did you see my arms?
Oh,
Like
it's,
that.
Like what? Like out to the sides?
it's like
Yeah.
Elmo shrug.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, here I'm sending over in the chat what it looks. Well, sending over the page to go to where it's at. That's a Gaelic shrug. Gaelic shrug. Yeah. So it's a French thing.
Oh.
Is it like
okay.
Galatea?
Why am I seeing a racy photo? Are you guys seeing this photo of the man holding the two legs up in the air?
Yeah, racy promotional posters
Oh, my.
for Les Infideles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The infidels. Is that what that means?
God, I mean, I'd let him hold my legs up too. He's not bad looking.
Wow.
And will union. Okay.
Alrighty. Fascinating segue. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you looked it up though, because I did not.
I
I
didn't.
also read that and didn't know what that meant.
Do you guys have more, or do you want to move on to another pro?
Lee, do you have anything else to add about
Udil.
Mama?
I guess I would say I right below the quote I highlighted of Odile. There's an observation that Luke makes about his mom and Judy, and it's life with Mom and Judy had been this bubble I'd kept other people away from, partly because I was worried they wouldn't understand, but also because I guess in some odd way I wanted it to stay mine. And I thought that was very poignant, and that this is like just like a fly by your pants romance novel, but like there were moments that like really just stabbed you.
Yes.
And that one did for me, because it was like just showing how vulnerable you can be, and wanting to protect your family from the casual outsider.
And I'm almost wonder. I'd like to know a little bit more about Alexis, because I'm almost wondering if some of this is very true to him, and maybe I don't know what his biography is. And I looked at some of his other books. This one seems more accessible, I think, maybe to like general public. Because it looks like the most popular of all the books that he's written. So I'm wondering if Luke might be like or it might be not a caricature, but of a drawn to himself. I don't know, but it'd be interesting
true
to
life
find.
in a way.
Yeah, it would be interesting to know. I just heard a couple interviews with him, and he seems delightful. So he has a thing with top hats I enjoy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I did see a photo of him with a top hat on.
Yeah. But no, I can see that. I mean, there's like this was an emotional book. I mean,
It really was.
I want to say one of my first pros. I mean, I'm going to let someone else say Oliver.
I think all of us have Oliver.
Yeah. This book is fucking hysterical. This book is so funny. We've read some funny books. This one I think is probably the funniest we've had. I might have been reading at work, and it was on my lunch break, guys. And I was laughing out loud in my office. I have so many things just circled. I mean, I can't even. I personally, the first time that when they talk about when Oliver and Luke meet for the first time, or not, they're like they meet for the first time, and when somebody comes up and was like, "Oh, are you two together?" Oliver's first reply is, "No, this is just another homosexual I'm standing next to." I was like, that hit me in the right spot. I just laughed my ass off. I don't know why, but it was just funny. It's seriously. It's hysterical.
I completely agree. I interpreted that scene as like, no, this is just another homosexual I'm standing by. That's what that was to me.
Yeah.
I think this is actually the funniest book I've ever read.
Yeah. I
laughed so much throughout this book out loud and highlighted more of this book than I think any book I've ever read, on a Kindle anyway.
I have to say, one of the reviews said this was very Bridget Jones, and it is. I mean, that's what it reminded me of, because Bridget Jones is the same sort of setup. It's very British humor. I mean, but this was even, bigger than British humor. There's just, it was, I'm trying to see. Oh, and the interactions between Luke and his coworkers. Oh my God. Alex Twaddle, which I was like, of all things, I thought
it was a joke.
I know. And I mean, Alex, so Luke comes in every day to work and he'll tell Alex a joke. And Alex usually never gets it because he's like a posh kind of airhead, aristocratic sort of, but his heart's in such a good place. But so I said to Alex Twaddle, a man walks into a bar and sits down. And there's a bowl of peanuts. And a voice comes from the bowl of peanuts saying, "Hey, your hair looks great." And then the other voice comes from the cigarette machine on the other side of the bar saying, "No, it doesn't. You look like a prick, and so does your mom." Alex's eyes widen. "Oh, I say, that's a bit much." Yeah, keep in mind, because it's sort of integral to the joke. Anyways, the man asks the barman, what's going on? And the barman says, "Don't worry, the nuts are complimentary, but the cigarette machine's out of order." Well, I suppose they wouldn't have bothered to fix it because you're not allowed to smoke in pubs anymore. I should have seen this coming. You're right, Alex. It's the accuracy that makes it funnier. I'll keep that in mind, too. He smiled at me encouragingly. What's the rest of the joke? That was the joke. The nuts are complimentary, but the cigarette machine is out of order.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, so. Yeah,
I thought there was going to be some sort of story arc with that, because that came up so many times. I think there are 4 or 5 of those jokes between Alex and Luke.
I think all but one time that they're in the office, like when they're describing mornings in the office. I think all but one time.
Yeah. And there's something else about Alex, though. Is he stupid?
Yes.
I think he's stupid.
I think so.
Because there's
Miffy's stupid, too. Because Miffy's real stupid, too.
Miffy is his one of the last scenes.
No, fiancé now.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
One of the last, it was either the penultimate or the final joke. There was this huge conversation, and I think the coworker was there too. And
Rhys, isn't it?
Rhys or Reese? How do you pronounce
Reese,
that?
I think it's Rhys.
Rhys.
Yeah, like John Rhys Davies. Well, no, you're right. It's Reese because it's John Rhys Davies. Yeah. Anyhow.
Is he a serial killer?
No, he's an actor.
Oh, okay.
It's always 3 names.
Yeah, I mean he's a racist Islamophobe, but he's an actor.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, he was in Lord of the Rings. He played Gimli.
Okay. Lee, did we interrupt you? with our serial killer discussion.
Shit just comes like, if it's about a serial killer, I probably know.
Serial killers
Sorry.
do have a way of interrupting. It's just how it goes.
They also have 3 names. Anyhow.
No, I was trying to get that, how, like,
Henry
there was
Lee
something
Lucas.
about Alex, and I was like, is he like an idiot savant? Like, is he smart in like one lane, and then the rest he's just like totally socially awkward, or...
No, I think
That was
because
a good question and something I wondered toward the beginning, but I think he's just dumb.
I think he's just dumb because
Okay.
the interactions that Oliver has with him doesn't. It almost seems like it's also like a sect of those of that group too. Like it's not uncommon to come up with to meet someone in that group that's just as dumb, because Oliver reacts to his stupidity as almost off the cuff, like, oh, that's just Alex, or that's just my peers, peers of the realm.
So Alex is
No.
really just the privileged idiot.
Yeah,
yeah, I think
yeah,
so.
with a good heart.
Yeah.
He wouldn't
He
hurt a
doesn't seem to
fly.
be malicious, but no.
No.
I mean, it's actually his idea. Mm-hmm. The entire premise is his idea that you should find a fake boyfriend, just someone you can pretend with for a little while.
and he wants to
improve your
pretend
image.
with Oliver at some point.
I know, like, is he that stupid where he would just be like, oh, maybe I'm gay?
No, I think he was thinking it was gonna be a fake boyfriend too. I don't think it was. I think
Ollivander.
Just bros.
That was their ship.
bros.
Their ship name, Ollivander.
Vander. Yeah. Yeah. Miss Veronica, do you have anything?
I'll have to switch mine up because mine really was that this is the funniest book I've ever read in my entire life.
Aw, sorry.
It's okay because I'll just go with Oliver.
All right.
I mean, let's just lob that right into the middle of the court. The thing is, so up until this point, Jack Devlin has been like
Oh,
the hero
yeah.
for me anyway. At least in terms of like books that we've read for the podcast. It might be Oliver now. I mean,
There were times where some of the things that he said, like I texted you guys, I'm like, my cockles are warming. And those were the times where like, my stomach just dropped because it was just so, like I would kill to have someone say some of the stuff that he says to him.
so I wrote down page numbers. It literally in my notes right here, it just says Oliver being amazing. And then it has a ton of page numbers after it. So let's just, he is extraordinarily patient, like extraordinarily patient. And that is something that, if you know anything about me, is really necessary in order to be in a relationship with me. So I am, I guess I see, in that respect, I see my husband there because God knows he's so fucking patient. Like, the man deserves a medal and also maybe a plaque and a special seat in heaven. So anyway, the thing that I think what made me text you guys and say, really, it was like really late at night, and I texted you both, and I was like, you guys, I'm in love with Oliver because of this right here. Oliver won't, how do I put this? Okay, so Luke has had like a kind of man whore phase in the past, but it's not been doing that as of late, and is basically celibate at this point. But he is attracted to Oliver because duh. And so it's kind of a joke. There's a joke between the two of them about sending dick pics and how Oliver refuses to send dick pics. And occasionally he'll just text me like, oh, sorry again for the lack of dick pics. Well, then he starts sending pictures of men named Richard. Which is never not funny. And I kept saying
Good
to
play.
Ray, like, I kept saying to Ray, like, I'm waiting for Richard Ayoade to come up, and he never did, which I was really bummed about. But
I was okay with Richard Armitage,
though.
though.
It was hysterical.
Yeah. Richard Armitage, I was excited about.
Yes. So anyway, there's sex discussions going on. And there's a moment where they had met like a couple years prior at Bridget, that's their mutual friend, at a party that she was having, like a birthday party or something. And that might have been the point where he said, no, this is just a homosexual I'm standing next to. Well, after that, Luke got super drunk and tried to come on to Oliver, and Oliver was like, no, and just took him home and like tucked him into bed and put meds on his nightstand with water and stuff like that. So that comes back up, and Luke is talking about how like you keep refusing to shag me, and Oliver says, "What do you mean keep?" He says, "Bridget's birthday a couple of years ago, we nearly got together, but instead you pissed off and left me." He gazed at me with obvious incredulity. Thank you. Yeah. I'm not even drunk, you guys. Sorry, are you insulted that I didn't date rape you? You what? I gave him a shocked look back. I remember that evening, and you were completely out of it. I don't think you knew who I was, much less what you were doing. For fuck's sake, I snapped. I have had lots of drunk sex, and I have been fine. Oh, Lucian, how do I explain this? For some reason, he sounded sad. I don't want fine. Fine isn't enough. It's not about the open fire or whatever other cliches you can conjure up. But yes, I want a connection. I want you to care as much as I care. I want you to need it and want it and mean it. I want it to matter.
Also, Oliver's hot.
Yeah.
Should we talk about that?
Yeah,
I mean, can we talk about the V cut? I mean, I was going to tell you how many times I was going to say cum gutters in this. So I had heard that V, that wonderful V that leads to the happy trail, you know, that's like taking you down home. I've heard it referred to as cum gutters before. So that's what I kept texting to these two. So enjoy that. But Oliver,
all over the group chat. Yeah.
Oliver is described as fit, very fit, tall, real good looking, perfect. At some points he says perfect. Mm-hmm. There's this one line, like right after their first bad, disastrous date, and Luke goes in for a kiss, and like Oliver's like, what the fuck? And he first falling backwards, and Luke is like so upset because he feels like he's like he'd rather like, you know, fuck off than even kiss me. And he's like, what the hell was that? He's like, it was a kiss. Why? Haven't you had one of those before? People sometimes exchange them on dates. He turned on me with a ferocity. Oh, I turned the page too early. That I actually took a step back. This is where it gets hot. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Is this a game to you? What has Bridget told you? What? No. Tell me what's going on. Nothing's going on. We were sort of dancing down the street at this point, me skipping backwards over the pavement as he stalked after me, shoes clicking and coat flying. There was clearly something very, very wrong with me because it was kind of hot. His eyes gleamed. Now. I tripped over the curb as it flattened unexpectedly at a side street, but Oliver caught my wrists before I could fall, yanking me against his body and holding me there, making me, I guess, equivalent to a plant in his estimation. God, his coat was cozy. Please stop playing with me, Luke. Now he sounded tired, maybe a little sad. What's this really about? It is, for some reason, I had to highlight because I'm like, this is fucking hot. This is hotter. This is hot. Mm-hmm. Oh, because I imagine a guy in a nice... Oh, I need to get laid. Anyhow,
yeah, I liked how that scene was so like predatory, but but harmless, like not in a gonna kill you way.
Yeah. I mean, you could tell from the beginning, from subtle clues, that Oliver genuinely liked Luke, and something happened in their first exchange, their first time they met, that it like Oliver knew that it was not going to work, but I don't think he ever really stopped liking him.
Yeah, and that's discussed later. But he, at one point, I, for whatever reason, don't have this highlighted, but before they really start to admit to each other, and definitely before Luke starts to admit to himself that he actually has feelings for Oliver, Oliver tells him that he's beautiful.
Yeah. Many times.
So many times.
Lee, do you have any Oliver quotes?
I believe I have one. I have to find it though.
Take your time. You're fine. I can get a couple more.
We're here all night.
You guys. At one point, so Oliver is very passionate about his job. So he's a barrister, which we discussed actually once before on the show.
Yes. Which
about
it was
the difference between barristers. But that was like American versus English. So he's...
No, it was British.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's a criminal barrister. So he's a criminal defense attorney, essentially.
Right, a litigator.
Yes, yes. So people must have, like, people pass judgment on that frequently. And he brings that up. But it's very important to him. He loves his job. He's very passionate about it. He very fundamentally believes that everyone has the right to a fair trial. And so that is a large motivator for him. At one point, they are having a text discussion. And he says to Luke, I'm just not used to having something in my life that is as important to me as my job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just so beautiful.
Yeah.
It is so beautiful.
And Luke is so not used to hearing that. So it just goes, it's, you know how you don't know how to take a compliment? Like, and you defense mechanism it up and it just bounces off of you. I think that's what happened in that scene, right? Luke's like, whatever, dude,
Well, he says, I still have it. He says, I typed out, you're really taking this fake boyfriend business seriously, aren't you? But I didn't have the heart to send it. Instead, I tried, what about your gazillion other relationships?
Yeah, because Luke is having an issue because being the son of two famous people, he's constantly like judged by whatever he does, and he had a little bit of a wild past, and then in his last boyfriend, and this is one of the reasons where he's kind of like, I just need a fake boyfriend. I don't want to get really attached, because his boyfriend Miles before had sold their story pretty much to like the Sun or something like that, and I mean, pretty shitty. I mean, like shitty in general, but super shitty. Because I mean, he went and just told him like, it didn't seem to be like anything crazy, but enough that they'd done or anything. But it was because he just told him like, because they met in college, and it was like their relationship from college on. But it was just enough that your trust obviously is gone. I mean, but it's. So he's had a rough go of it, and he can't trust anybody, and that's a huge part of this book, is building this trust between these two. And then poor Oliver has his family. Whoo,
God.
Yeah, you don't hear about his story until the end,
and there's a reason.
So Oliver's shit is all out in the open. Because of the paparazzi, because of his circumstances.
You mean Lucian?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, Luke.
Yeah.
Lucien.
Lucien.
Which is
Speak
one of my
French
favorite quotes. Just, because of Luke's parents and, his status as this kind of pseudo-celebrity, we all know what's going on with him. And Oliver's, his story is hidden.
True.
Yeah. And
it's so sweet how Oliver also, like, at one point, Oliver literally shields Luke from the paparazzi.
Yeah.
Literally, like, wraps his body around him
after
to
their
shield him from the
horrible
paparazzi.
date. Yeah, after that horrible date, which, I mean, all of us would be like, fuck you, dude, because he was a serious dick to Oliver that whole night. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, Oliver. I just love him so much. There is one funny quote though that I wanted to touch on. Because as a reoccurring theme on this podcast, we discuss how the bar is on the fucking floor. So there was one quote where I literally made a note, like I highlighted it, and then I made a note that said, the bar is on the floor. So they're going to meet his mom, and Oliver admits that he's nervous. He's legitimately nervous. This is one of the clues that you get that he really, truly cares about Luke. And so they're talking about this when they're walking over to his mother's house. And Oliver says, what if she doesn't like me? She might not think I'm good enough for you. Fucking Luke goes, well, if you don't walk out leaving me alone with a 3-year-old kid, you'll be doing way better by me than my dad did by her. So, not a lot to lose here. Oliver would never.
No.
No.
Okay, so all this happiness.
Contented
Now
size.
We got to do some bacon, guys. I think we all did a pro, right? All right.
There's some bacon.
I do have a little couple pieces of bacon. Nothing that's I don't think earth-shattering, but who, Mr. Lee, do you want to go first?
Okay. Do we want to talk about Luke's dad right now? Is this a good time?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
And what a huge fucking piece of shit.
Piece of actual garbage he is.
What is wrong with Luke's dad, John Fleming? The famous John Fleming.
Mm-hmm.
He is the worst.
He is.
So you find out right away, I think it's the first or second chapter, that Luke's dad, John Fleming, who was kind of this, washed up musician, is trying to restart his career. He's on The Voice kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
England.
America's Got Talent or something, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you find out that his dad has cancer very, very early on. And so
we're not laughing at cancer.
We're not laughing at cancer.
Fuck
so
cancer.
sorry.
Fuck cancer.
Fuck cancer.
But also fuck his dad.
Yeah.
Which Luke says to him at one point, which was one of the greatest quotes as well. But he's just such...
You're not going to say it?
No, you got to say it,
You
man.
got to say it.
Girl... I think it's... Veronica, I think it's yours. I think you...
okay.
I think you can own it.
Fine.
Yeah.
Super happy to say it. I can do it now. I'll just do it now.
You just know. It's great timing.
He literally says to his father's face. Now, mind you, he's not spoken to his father in 25 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean it's not like they're close or that he's made no effort to reach out to Luke to get to know him in any capacity until this point. And Luke is 28. And he literally says to him, fuck off and die. Fuck off and literally die. And then turns around and walks out the door.
But you know what? I think we all... I felt that. I felt that in my stomach. I was like, oh, yeah. But inside I was like, yes! I want to do the same thing. Sorry, guys. That was really loud.
Here for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he used this diagnosis to get back into Luke's life. I guess the thinking was, well, I'm going to die, so I might try to make up with my son. Mm-hmm. But then he made no effort.
Yeah.
It was always, come see me when it's convenient for me. Then he blew him off a couple times. Never paid any attention to him. So it was this what was the actual fake relationship here? Was it Oliver and Luke, or was it Luke and his dad? Because there was nothing there.
Yeah.
He literally asked Luke to drive 4 fucking hours to his house and then ignored him for 5 hours while he worked.
But you know what? A question for you guys. So, since we're on the cons, though, here's my question. Did that character make you feel angry?
Oh, yeah. Oh, he was written well.
He was written well.
I thought it was very believable.
Yeah, it was very, and I'm saying this just because a couple books ago, one of my pros was the villain, because she made me, she made me hate her and what was happening, and it was well written. So I guess here's my question for you, Lee. What's the con here then?
Oh, you stumped me.
Yeah, because like our second book, I said something about in a con being the father, the hero's father, but then afterwards I thought to myself, but he was so written so well, I fucking hated him for a reason. So is the con because like one of my cons for this book is I wanted a chance for Luke to tell him off for the last fucking time in a big way, like publicly or something. And the paparazzi be there or something, even though that would look bad on him, but something where it felt that finality with him. That was one of my cons.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. And you're absolutely right. The con is not the writing of this character, because that was well done. The con is
just him.
What a piece of shit he was.
Yeah.
Agreed. Well, I mean, because then we can lump then Oliver's parents into that too, because they were fucking assholes too. Jesus. Awful. I mean, almost all the parents except for Odile were like the fucking scum of the earth in this book. Which I guess, I mean, are all British parents mean?
God, I hope not. Hey, British listeners, please tell us about your parents.
Yeah, what's going on?
Don't worry, Americans have terrible parents too.
Oh, again.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's universal.
Plenty of bad examples. That's a universal truth.
Right. Yeah.
That's not a British thing. We understand that.
Just go to a Cracker Barrel around here. You'll see about
Oh, man. No. Well, I do have, to that point, I do have, I guess, an actual con. Okay. And that is, I was hoping for a little more sex.
I have that too! Maybe more sexy time.
You know, and maybe it's like all the Pornhub I'm watching, but like, shit, man. I was like, so there was...
Well, your husband is out of town, so...
Oh, what he doesn't know.
Yeah. You know, there's that weird tab on Pornhub you just want to hit every so often. You're like, oh, what's going to show up for me? Oh, that's interesting. I never knew I liked that.
So, I mean, no, really. So there's this... When things are finally heating up between them, it's clearly a moment when they're going to have sex, and they have sex. But Alexis Hall, love you, man. You gotta give me more imagery, please.
Right.
It says that literally says, look, it's not the sort of thing you talk about, okay? It was for us, and it was everything. I mean, you get hearts for that. You get no eggplants, all right?
Right.
It like.
There
why
is a second
the
scene.
Fuck would you write that?
Yeah. Well,
but they are beautifully written, though. Like the emotions that he discusses because there's like two scenes that are sort of
the second
like
one's a little more detailed, but still not like you get a little more sweaty bodies touching together. But no, there's no detail. There's no insertion. I need some insertion, man. I need details of like logistics.
You literally texted me at one point, there is no hang on, let me get the lube moment. That is literally a text you sent me.
It's the obligatory somebody find some lube. That's
what I like. It's an MM romance. Like,
that's what I'm waiting for. Somebody's be like, get some olive oil or balm or whatever, depending on what time period I'm reading. Yeah.
You do it on purpose, I swear to God. I was drinking wine and you were like, let me get the olive oil.
I wasn't even looking at you that time. I'm going to cook with it and stick it up your bum. Anyhow.
Wow.
The butter
that's
churn.
actually... Here's a... Jesus Christ. You too.
It's what you get when you get us together, man.
It is. I know, fully aware. I've known both of you for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Longer?
As our group chat today, about how we all want to put a leg over John Ossoff.
Yeah. Literally everyone agreed. Like,
yes, please.
Everyone in America agreed. Like, it's kind of like how, you know what we haven't done? Oh, shit, I forgot. So I'm going to take this moment to bring up Chris Evans and America's Ass.
Yeah.
It's like how everyone just kind of agrees that if your girlfriend or boyfriend were approached by Chris Evans, they're leaving them for you. Like, or they're leaving you for them. I mean, come on. Hello, it's America's Ass.
Yeah.
Yes. John Ossoff, yes, we're all going to leave you for him. Come on.
If my husband was like, if he literally came upstairs and was like, so John Ossoff or Chris Evans wants to go out with me, I'd be like, I'll pass, go. Like, do you need me to help you pack your shit?
Yeah. I mean,
You gonna be gone a weekend, a week? What's the deal? You just let me know.
Yeah, seriously, if my significant other came up and was like, hey, so Chris Evans is in the car. He says, bitch, get in your... And then Sebastian Stan was in the passenger seat.
Threesome.
Right? First, I'd be like, can you do something for me first? Take some pictures. And then, I'd be like, yeah, your bag is packed, bitch. And if you don't tell me what happened and or show me a video, we're fucking divorced.
I need details.
Give me da deets. Yeah, anyhow. So that was your obligatory... America's ass.
It's going to be in every single episode. It'll be like the pineapples in Psych.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, please.
Gus and Sean. Okay. Yeah, it is. So what were we talking about?
We were talking about the bacon.
Oh, yes, we were talking about sex. Yes.
Yes. You both said that there needed to be some more detail in the sex, and I will say that I agree with that. I would have preferred it. I think that I will say this: if you've not read an romance and you are not sure if you want, like, if you're unsure if it'll make you uncomfortable, this is a great one to start with because there's no detail.
You hadn't.
This was my first romance.
Yeah, and I thought to myself, this was actually a really good one for you to start with because it was like, I mean, some people just might not be their thing.
Right. If you're not comfortable with that, like, this is still like, it's such an amazing book. And if that is like something that you aren't entirely sure if you're comfortable reading yet, like, this is a great place to start.
Judgment-free zone, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Can you answer a question for me? Because I don't know. I don't remember being answered. Why wouldn't Oliver kiss Luke at first?
He didn't like him.
Yeah, but I wonder. Okay.
He said, I only kiss people that I like.
Yeah, I know. But then we all know, I mean, he definitely liked him at that point.
Yeah, but I wonder if it was like...
it's a weird rule. Because he even says, are these Pretty Woman rules?
Right.
I don't know. Anyhow, sorry, I didn't know if
he
discussed it. Yeah.
I think it
was another con.
I think it was some sort of internalized homophobia against himself.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you feel that in this book overall and with Oliver? I kind of did.
I mean, I don't want to give too much away with his story because I think that impacts, if you knew that about him at the start, it would change how you read it, I think.
I mean, you could definitely see it with his friends and Luke's friends because it was like, it felt like Oliver was trying really hard to fit in with the quote unquote straights.
Oh, yeah. I do remember there was a scene in which Oliver and Luke are talking about like parties. And Oliver says, well, I tried in college to go to like the gay parties and it was just LGB. I remember that. It wasn't even LGBTQ plus.
Right, it wasn't even.
It was just LGB at that time, and I just wasn't into it. Just the way he wasn't into, like, the drag race when they're watching it. And then Oliver kind of invites Luke to a party of his, and Luke says, well, I'll go to your straight party if you want me to. And Oliver's like, just call it a party. It's just a party. And so there's that double standard.
I know. I felt a little bit, and this is no judgment zone, but I was like, I felt like Oliver's friends might have been a little bit more accepting. I don't know, and that's just me, because I felt like, I don't know. Well, I shouldn't say that. I have no idea. I just felt a little bit more. I don't know. I guess it's just maybe, as a straight, I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah,
as a straight.
As a straight, I have no idea. Unfortunately, I'm straight, so
unfortunately, although TikTok is doing its damnedest. I mean,
TikTok is trying really hard to make sure that I realize I'm bi.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
But it was almost like the both friend groups were written almost as symbolism, as a dichotomy, to show the dichotomy of Oliver and Luke.
Oh yeah, they were pretty exclusive, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
And very opposite. I mean, they were both friend groups are hysterical.
Right.
But, like, they are pretty opposite in I mean, Bridget is a member of both friend groups, but she's...
she crosses the line, goes back and forth.
Oh my God, she's hysterical. Everything that happens to her is ridiculous. Like, just fucking ridiculous.
Oh my God. Every time she had something with work, but the whole fucking books in the river had half of the books that she was taken to a signing fell into the river.
Fell into the river. Like, at the beginning, I texted them and I was like, am I Bridget? Because it was like, she's always late. What's the quote? I'll find it. You keep talking.
Everything's in all caps.
Yes. I have a feeling that, honestly, Bridget is an homage to Bridget Jones. I have a feeling.
Yeah, that could be very... I wondered that also.
It's so... I mean, if you've not read Bridget Jones, what haven't you done with your life? You need to read it. It's really funny.
I actually haven't read the book.
Really good. No,
I've
seen
the movies.
Don't. I mean, the first movies are really good. It's very... there's still... The book is better. But the shit that she goes through in those books, you're like, no human.
Never not funny. It is so funny.
Never not happy.
This is the introduction to Bridget. Bridget Wells, my token straight friend. Always late, always in the middle of a crisis, always on a diet. And I screen capped that and I sent it to them and I was like, guys, am I Bridget?
We're all Bridget. That's what I said.
We're all a little bit Bridget, but I think we discovered later that I'm
There was
Luke,
a moment when we were literally all Bridget, and that was the scene where Luke is talking to Oliver from within the bathroom.
Oh, yes.
And because he couldn't talk to him face to face. And afterward, I forget if Bridget finds out. I forget if it was Luke or Oliver who told them, or she just figures it out.
He calls Bridget while he's on the floor.
Oh, that's right. And Bridget's like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. Which is kind of like our chat groups. Sometimes if you walk away, you're fucked because you come back to your phone and there's 40 messages and you're like, what the fuck happened while I was gone?
Yeah. This actually segues pretty nicely into my bacon.
Okay.
Which is that I did not expect, and maybe I should have, but I did not expect the emotional fucking roller coaster this book took me on. Like, really did not expect it. So there's this moment. Hang on, let me read this quote. Like I said, at the beginning I thought I was Bridget, but by the end I realized I was very much Luke.
Well, there's a little Oliver inside me.
I wish there was Oliver inside me.
Right. Okay.
Get lube.
So there's this scene where the two of them are having like a really intense discussion, and Luke is doing it. Luke is just laying on the bathroom floor, and they're having a discussion through the bathroom door. Well, then later they're having another intense discussion, but they're face to face. And Luke he literally says, "This is probably going to sound totally bizarre, but do you mind if I go in your bathroom? Sorry, I assume you're not asking to use the facilities? No, I think I'd just like to go in there. If you dump me through a door, I'm going to be very angry. I'm not going to. And my end goal is to get to the stage where we can have this conversation in the same room, but, baby steps." He made a defeated gesture. Fine, if that's what you need. You guys, I literally, the last time I was really upset about something and knew because of 16 years of therapy that I needed to discuss it with my husband, I literally laid in bed next to my husband with my hands over my face while I cried with my eyes closed, talking to my husband about this thing that was bothering me. And I was like, I literally said to him, like, I just can't look at you when I say this.
Yeah.
And when I read this, I screenshot it and I sent it to you guys. And I was like, you guys, I'm so broken. Like, what the fuck?
No.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting, like, the roller coaster. But it's such a beautiful book. And it's so... There are some very, like Lee was saying, there's some very real moments that happen in this book. And I mean, obviously recommend it. It was just so good.
I have one.
I like the angst though. We've discussed this.
Oh, well, you do. It's like you like angsty car crash books where I'm like I can't handle. I have one little other piece of bacon, and I could be completely wrong, and I might be on the whatever. But
someone had better make me bacon after this. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it's gonna be 11 o'clock at night.
Bacon
Shit, I
sandwich.
don't have any bacon tomorrow at the grocery store. Anyway.
You can't have it for a fortnight after that.
Good one.
Yes. Yes. Okay. The final grand gesture that Oliver makes, I wish it had been grander. I'm not gonna lie, because Luke makes such a big grand gesture.
Yes, he does.
And gets shot down. I mean, you guys aren't. Whatever. I'm not giving anything really away, but it needed to be bigger. And I get it, because it's going to lead into this pro that I'm going to tell you about. I hope this is a surprise. But the pro is there's a sequel, and it's coming out in 2022, and it's called Husband Material.
Stop it. Are you serious? I didn't know that.
Yep. So I'm hoping it was kind of low key, because maybe Oliver's going to make a big grand gesture in Husband Material.
He fucking better.
Yeah.
Oh, I cannot wait.
But I don't know.
Wait, when did you say it comes out?
2022.
All right, well, we're just going to have to put that on the podcast list.
There is, once you keep
and
going,
Lee will have to come back.
Yes, I'm going to read. There is a little bit of a description. So you guys keep talking, but I don't know. Am I wrong on that one?
No,
I don't know.
Think so. No, honey, it's not. You're not wrong. This is something that bothered you about the book. Something that bothered me about the book was all of the drama at the end.
All the drama.
Kind of like how you said in when we did our first episode on Friends Without Benefits, and you were like, your con was literally, girl, you couldn't have just waited 24 hours.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of how I look at it. Like, this was very, like, the end is jam-packed, man.
So
There's a lot going on.
Very impulsive, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you remember, those of you who have seen Bridget Jones, you remember how the ending of Bridget Jones goes, where all of her friends come to pick her up and take her to Paris. And while she's going to Paris, locking her door, Mark Darcy shows up. And I'm wondering, not to give too much away, if this is an homage to that a little bit.
It also reminded me of I think you're right about that, but it also reminded me, it gave me serious Knitting in the City vibes, like that whole series. There's always a part where like all of the friends come together in every single book.
Well, what's funny too is...
And go to like get the guy, you know?
Yeah. Well, in Bridget Jones, one of her friends, her token gay friend, is Tom. So that made me laugh when Tom shows up. Yeah.
Right.
So here's Husband Material. This is the little blurby that's on Goodreads. In Boyfriend Material, Luke and Oliver pretended to fall in love, fell in love for real, dealt with heartbreak and disappointment and family and friends, and somehow figured out a way to make it work. Now it seems like everyone around them is getting married, and Luke's feeling the social pressure to propose, but it'll take more than 4 weddings, a funeral, and a bowl of special curry to get these two from I don't know what I'm going to do. So.
I'm already excited. Already ready.
I'm here for it.
Yep.
Here for it.
Here for it. We're going to do another episode. Cannot wait.
Yep. Yeah, it just says 2022, so that's all.
Okay.
Summer 2022, so we have a year. I mean, I can handle it.
I can handle that.
Yeah. Anybody else got some pros for me?
A lot of books to... You want to go back to pros? Yeah, do it.
Well, I mean, that was my pro, is that it's coming out. So, I mean, the characters are amazing. I mean, it's very fleshed out characters. I mean, that's really the pro.
Lee, do you have any other bottom buns you'd like to discuss? Buns.
I had, okay, this is weird. I had Dr. Fairclaw as a pro.
She was amazing.
Because
yes.
And I'm looking at what I wrote because I totally forgot.
She's Luke's boss.
I totally forgot that I wrote this.
Oh yeah, we didn't even say that what Luke does.
We didn't even talk about what Luke does.
Luke works in like development at this nonprofit.
Crap.
The acronym is CRAP, CRAPP, and it's this environment, kind of like save the beetles.
Dung
Yeah.
beetles.
The
Dung beetles. It's like a conservancy for dung beetles.
So it's just a setup for funny jokes, and they hit every
They
time.
land. Yeah, they land.
But the boss, Dr. Faircloth, she is inhumanly transactional in her
Yes.
mannerisms. Like everything is a transaction with her. And a good example of that is when she's complimenting Luke on a job well done. And it's like supposed to be like comic interplay with like how flawed and human Luke is on the one hand and how like robotic she is on the other. And she literally has her schedule that tells her when to compliment people. Okay, you're done now. You're just a staff member and go back to work. And so I just thought it was so funny. And I don't think I've had that kind of interaction with anybody, but I would imagine some people have. And maybe if people were as direct as Dr. Faircloth, life would be a little more simple, right?
True.
I kind of
True.
wondered if she had Asperger's.
I thought
maybe,
so too.
Yeah.
Like,
thought
it's
so,
just that, and I don't mean that as a joke. Like, I
No.
legitimately wondered if, like, she seemed to have exhibited behaviors that people with Asperger's sometimes exhibit, which is, like, not really picking up on social cues.
Yeah.
Or not having a lot of, like, understanding that what you say might hurt people, things
Right.
like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because-
I mean, it's very matter of fact. Like this
Yeah.
and this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm not firing because you're gay, but if I'm kind of firing because you're gay, like sort of thing. Like because that's unfortunately where Lucas is kind of at, is because he was photographed being drunk. No, he wasn't even drunk.
He wasn't.
was just-
No, it was actually an
He just
accident.
He tripped in the middle of the street, and a paparazzi took a picture of him, and it looked like he was drunk and falling over himself in the street. And so donors are pulling out of this crap fundraiser.
Beetle Drive.
The Beetle Drive.
Drive.
So it's interesting because you actually hate her at the beginning because you're like,
Yeah.
is that
Yeah.
even like fucking legal what she's saying to him right now? But who does she like? The one person she likes in the whole book is Oliver.
Is Luke. Oh, yeah, like, yeah. Well, I think she kind
Oliver.
of likes Luke,
Well,
part of it.
okay, she doesn't fire him.
She doesn't fire him.
Is that a spoiler?
But no, she loves him. No.
No. Yeah, that's true.
There's a line. Now, please, for the love of God, give us some money so we can save the bugs that eat shit, except, without using any of those words or ideas or sentiments. Ma'am, do you have something else?
The other thing, we've already touched on this a little bit, but one of my other things, we've talked about like all of the pros between the three of us. However, the one thing that we haven't gone very far into is both of the friend groups, because they are both hysterical.
They are.
And his friend group, I loved his friend group in particular, but it also made me realize, like, toward the end, Oliver had still not really met Luke's friends.
Right, right.
And so then all of a sudden, they're all together, and he's like, what is happening? Why is there, like, this entire group? And they're all shouting at them from the
kiss.
truck. Like,
Which happens in which happens in Bridget Jones, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But there was one part, so at the beginning when you're being introduced to all of the friends, it is so goddamn funny. But one part in particular, I was laughing so hard and trying to read this aloud to my husband, but I was failing so miserably because I was laughing so hard. Okay, so he says, I met James Royce and James Royce.
Royce.
The
Now
Royces.
James Royce and James Royce It's a university LGBTQ event. In some ways, it's strange that the two of them work so well together because their name is pretty much the only thing they have in common. James Royce is a bespeckled chef in the way of expressing himself that, look, I'm trying to find a tactful way to put it, but basically he's just phenomenally camp. James Royce on the other hand.
Do you understand how many times I look between those lines or those words? The names going, these are spelled the same, right?
They're spelled the same. They're the exact same.
Yeah.
James Royce, on the other hand, looks like a Russian hitman. Has a job I don't understand involving unspeakably complex mathematics. Is incredibly shy. Their names are the same. I read the same paragraph so many times because I was like, wait, is there any difference in their names?
That's what I was
they're
like,
both just named James Royce. And so then they get married and they're Royces.
Royces.
Just fucking
For some reason, the one that was bespectacled and a chef, I pictured as bald. I don't know why. I just did. I have no idea why.
I don't know, but like I
kind of looking like Jamie from Mythbusters. It's fine. I don't know what my brain goes sometimes. It's fine.
The descriptions of his friends are so funny, though. Like, the Royces, I just cannot. The James Royces. But then it says, next we got Priya, a tiny lesbian with multicolored extensions who somehow managed to pay her bills by welding bits of metal to other bits of metal and selling them in galleries. I just can't, I loved all of the descriptions and all of the way that they come together to support Luke it's beautiful to me. It's just beautiful. That's what friends do for each other.
And I want to go back because now I feel like I'm I to the comment I made about the friend groups earlier about one maybe being more and more accepting than the other. I think that in my brain I'm thinking that is because we only see this from Luke's perspective. Because we're talking about Bridget being the quote-unquote token straight person. But we don't see that with Oliver because we don't get Oliver's perspective. However, and so I'm only seeing his friend group considering Oliver on his personality rather than his sexual orientation. However, in Luke's group, it's more of Bridget is the token straight. So that's I think where my brain is because we don't see from Oliver's point of view. So I was not trying to be I'm just saying I feel like I needed to go back on that one. I don't want anybody to think that because I fucking love gay men and gay women.
I love the gays.
I love
every
every gender and yes, I love everything. Anyhow, so just wanted to put that out there. But I think that part of it too is. And by him accepting Oliver's friends a little bit more and like going to the party and realizing that we're all the straights aren't just a weird weird club that we just sit and judge gay people. And I think was helpful for his development as a character too. So
he does well at that party.
He does. He does. And he also gets
He also gets
He gets some.
He also gets a donor for the Beetle Drive.
He does.
And you know
Sophia,
what rhymes
right?
with what rhymes with donor?
So a couple people in this group got a boner when that happened. Maybe all three.
Just
I don't
saying.
know.
I kept thinking throughout this book. You know how I don't want to okay, don't hate me. You know how
we don't hate you.
So the Twilight series, okay. Don't give me that look.
Ray, behave yourself.
We have.
I want to ride Charlie's mustache. What?
Oh God!
Yes,
My
please.
favorite character is the fucking dad. What? Okay, anyhow.
Of course it is.
See, thank you.
In the first book, we got her perspective. And then in the Midnight Sun, the after the fifth book or whatever, I don't know.
It's from Edward's perspective.
It's Edward's perspective, and so I kept thinking in that mindset of, what's Oliver thinking right now? Mm-hmm. What's going on in his mind, rather than how is Luke interpreting it?
Here, how about this, Alexis? Which we hope you listen. We're going to tag you in this, so we hope you listen. Maybe that's something for the second book, is we'd like to see some Oliver perspective. It would be cool.
Please.
Love you, Alexis. Don't hate us.
Give me an epilogue. Give me something.
Yeah.
Throw me a boner.
Or two. Lady boner.
I believe in the group chat the term blue bean came up.
And all I kept thinking was, I know I've used wide on before. I've heard that before. Wide on. Gross. Anyhow, do we have any more pros?
We are the worst.
I would like to throw out one of... So this is the quote that's used all of the time. That if you look up Pinterest and you look up this book. And this is Oliver to Luke. And I'm not giving anything away because, I mean, you know that Oliver and Luke fall in love, so it's not a big
A
surprise.
romance novel, you guys.
It's a fucking romance novel, guys. He stirred nervously at my side. I'm conscious this could be rather burdensome to hear, but you remain the thing I have most chosen for myself. The thing that's most exclusively mine. The one that brings me the deepest joy.
I'm just going to be crying.
I'll just cry over here too.
Yeah.
We'll just cry together.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
We're
Put
both
it on a
vaccinated.
shirt.
Can we hug each other while we cry now?
We can, FYI,
We can
guys.
hug each other now.
We can. We could, we could all be in
Hug it out.
Hug it. The other one, did you all catch the 10 Things I Hate About You reference?
I certainly did.
Fuck! I'm eating a mushroom, not jumping down the bleachers singing I can't take my eyes off of you.
There was also a Big
R.I.P.
Lebowski reference. Did
Which
you
one
guys
was
get that?
No.
So at one point, he enlists all the friends for like a apartment makeover, or like a flat makeover, if you will.
Anybody want to come do that at my house?
Anybody want to come do that at my house? I actually would be far too embarrassed for anyone to, especially Lee.
Right.
But I don't know that I'll be able to find it now because I don't remember when that really happens. But there's a very like in passing internal monologue comment that Luke makes.
Oh, it's the rug ties the room together.
The rug ties the room together.
Yes.
Yeah, that Priya made him buy the rug that makes the room come together or whatever it is. And I can't find it right now. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it.
Yeah.
There were a lot of like pop culture references.
Priya and her big lesbian truck.
Oh my God. I loved Priya. Loved her.
So here's a question for our hosts. Were you surprised by how, I guess, relational these two characters were?
What do you mean?
And I mean that as like, the standard is the straight romance, right? It's like that's such a big genre. Mm-hmm. And like the male is like this little niche over here.
No, I mean, I guess I think our answers might be different because I read more MM.
Okay.
So I am putting it to the same standard. So, well, no, I shouldn't say that. Because, like, for instance, the book I'm going to recommend tonight is a male, and it's like 100-year. I mean, it's like it's an older, like, in time, right?
Like a historical romance?
Historical romance, yeah. But it's historical in a different, almost like there's not the stigma that we have and we had. So I think it also just depends on how you've come into it with what you've read. So yeah, that's where I'm coming from.
Lee, I'm not sure I understand the question though.
I guess, so the question was, were you surprised by your emotional attachment to the characters?
No.
No. In that, was it any different to read two gay men falling in love versus, the woman and man?
So this is my first MM. Mm-hmm. So no, it was not different for me because I guess to me it's two humans who are falling in love. But I was pleasantly surprised at how much I was able to relate to Luke more specifically. But I would have never, as a straight, As a cis white straight lady, I don't ever assume to know how another person, especially like another minority, especially someone who identifies as lesbian or gay or trans or whatever, I would never assume to understand how it is they feel. But I also think it's really amazing to be able to read a story or talk to a person and find those things that you have in common, because I think that is what bridges the gap where people struggle to understand a different point of view. Do you know what I mean? Like, if people who have never met or don't realize that they've met a gay person because of living, I mean, this is going to bring up some stereotypes, but like living in a small town or growing up in a religious community, like maybe you don't think you've met any gay people. I guarantee you have, but like you don't, it's easy to like put that in a different box. But then when you start to meet people, you realize like they are humans and like they're just people, like I'm a person. Yeah. And I loved that that I was able to like read these characters that have this entire aspect of their lives that I cannot relate to. But to me, they felt like they were people I've met in my life, or they were people that I'd want to be friends with. I want to have dinner with those two guys. I mean, I also want to hang out with their friends. They're all fucking hysterical. I felt like every one of the characters was very relatable on a different level. Or is someone you have met. I mean, we all have like, I can't say any of us have a James Royce Royce and a James Royce Royce. But like,
no, but I think like, that's it. I think though, if it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to use just because it's popular and it's something that almost everybody who's seen it can get behind, Schitt's Creek.
Oh my God, I love that show so much.
So most of everybody, even the people, okay, I have relatives that are very conservative and they don't so much care for the gay community. However, love that show and really loved the karaoke scene. Not karaoke, the
Tina Turner.
Simply the Best.
Simply the Best scene. And to me, even though they are not there, that is not their crowd, that's not their scene, and that's not something, they still found something to relate to.
Of course, yeah.
And I think, and they realize how beautiful that scene is. And that's just this book too. It's like, the emotion's the same. It doesn't matter if it's two guys, and and the writing is so beautiful.
Beautiful.
That when like I said, my cockles were warmed many a times.
The cold, dead parts of my heart were very warm.
Yeah, right. What the pandemic hasn't killed.
Yeah.
Yes, was warmed.
It was very nice and warm.
Warmed. But I can tell you so my first I thought that same thing. I thought I was going to go in and be like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. I don't know if I'm going to feel. But I think, like you said, it's just two humans loving each other. And I mean, if the stories, no, I have read some that I haven't cared for, just because I couldn't relate to the characters at all. Like they were like, it was something that I was not used to. It was not something that I was like, I don't know anyone that was similar to the character. Not that I couldn't get into it, just it wasn't my scene. So this one felt like I know people like this, and I have been, I myself have been in situations like this, so I could relate to it.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, kudos to Alexis Hall for writing such, I mean, we keep saying this, relatable characters. Like the backstories.
They're fleshed out. They're all fleshed out.
So fleshed out. Like he knew everything about his characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I asked that question just because we're in such a polarized moment right now. And it's so nice to like experience other people's perspectives and to see your own humanity in someone else's story.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, I have to say, like, if you can't find the love and the feeling and the emotion in this story, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know. I can't help you. I can't.
He really, even during like the sex scenes, which are not gratuitous or descriptive in like not in the way that
we wanted,
not a
or the way that we
way.
wanted.
Stick it in, stick it in, stick it in. What?
Where's the lube? But like,
Joke on it.
Suck it like you mean it.
suck it like you mean it. I don't know if you've gotten to that episode yet, Lee, but you will. And also,
Suck it
my
like you
husband
mean it.
kept walking in like during that part. I was editing it. He walked in during that part. I was listening to it after it published. He walked in during that part, and he was like, "Why do I keep walking in when Ray says suck it like you mean it?"
If you have not listened to episode
The
2
last
of
episode
Page
of
to
Page
Screen, please do so.
You
Suck
definitely
it like
should,
you mean it.
and then you should definitely read that story. 'cause
Oh,
it was
fuck me.
super
You read it.
high.
It was fucking... Oh,
I read
I'm
it
reading...
as soon as we were done recording. I immediately went and read that story.
FYI,
It was-
I'm reading a V. Keeland, which I'm just going to throw out. I mean, I know this is a side venture. It's fine. So at one point, the heroine, or the hero makes the heroine...
Say it. Say
Oh my
it.
God, say it. Say it. Say it.
ride a... ride
Red.
a dryer or washing machine, one of the two. Washing machine, maybe. Yeah, it was washing machine. Like a horse. Both legs on both sides of a washing machine.
Question.
Yes.
Is he also there, or is that just...
Oh, he is. He's fixing some plumbing, and she's getting her plumbing.
Yes,
fixed.
I'm sure he is fixing plumbing.
But he's like straddle the washer, straddle it, and then he turns it on.
Is it hot in here?
It's fucking hot. It's V. Keelan.
Anyone sweating?
Rivals, the Rivals, guys, the Rivals. Yep. There's been about 5 sex scenes, and I'm halfway through.
It's called The Rivals?
It's called The Rivals, which makes me laugh because
Excuse me, I
speaking
need
of
to make a note. Is it enemies to lovers? Because we have mental illness.
It is enemies to lovers. Thank you very much.
We need to get our friend Hannah over there to read The Rivals from TikTok.
It was on the Galatea app, which I laughed because we brought up Galatea
Hell
earlier.
yeah.
But it is no longer on the Galatea app because I was like, fuck. Fuck me. I mean, there's some bondage. So if you like that, but anyhow, all right, yay, cool.
That was a worthwhile segue.
Before we do stunt casting, can
We
we
did your recommendations.
talk about the bacon, please?
No, I mean,
Can we talk about
we
the
talked
bacon?
about what?
The bacon.
We talked about the bacon.
Did we?
The bacon they eat?
Yeah, the cons. We talked about the cons.
Oh, okay.
That's the bacon.
Oh my
No,
gosh.
do you mean like the actual bacon?
Like the actual bacon
Oh, the bacon sandwich,
Delicious.
the bacon sarnie.
that we've
yeah.
been referencing all evening? Oh my god.
sorry,
Oh,
the
that's true. So you bring up a good point, Lee. So we've been saying that like, usually we'll just say like the deli meat or the fish of the sandwich. Specifically, we decided that this was bacon, straight through and through. There was no other option because Oliver is a vegetarian because of ethical reasons, which respect. But Luke is not. And at one point, Oliver is very upset, rightly so. And Luke offers to make him a bacon sandwich. And it's just this kind of beautiful moment.
And he
over
can't,
bacon
he can't buy
sandwiches.
bacon for a fortnight. It's
Yeah,
fine.
a fortnight is 2 weeks, by the way, everybody.
Yes, it's we We're good.
Well, I know you guys know, but perhaps not all
I know.
listeners
I
know
didn't
that a
mean to
fortnight is 2 weeks.
I'm sorry. I thought you meant us, and I was like, I fucking know.
We're in America.
I read Shakespeare, for fuck's sake.
God damn it.
Sorry, I didn't mean.
a lot of Shakespeare.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I know.
But
I
it was
love you.
funny to see, the mental gymnastics that Oliver goes through to convince himself that he deserved that delicious bacon sandwich.
God, bacon is
sarnie?
so good.
One thing I was grossed out with, and this is, I'm looking at Lee on this one. I was not feeling the eel sarnie. I was not feeling that.
So,
They eat weird shit in England.
English friends, you have weird food.
You do.
I
Holler.
know this personally because I've been to England a lot.
A few times, yeah.
A lot, like 10 times. And you got some weird ass shit going on over there, man. Like the blood pudding and
Oh God.
the toad in the hole or something like that. Like
That's a piece of toast with the hole in the middle of it.
I mean,
Right, with an egg in it?
But
That's
why
like,
don't you
that's
just
good.
why don't you just call it what it is?
What? Spotted dick?
Oh my God! Speaking of, hang on. That was a quote that I had. Let me see if I can find it.
Not to turn off your English listeners.
No.
Oh, P.S. Hey, Scotland, what up?
Oh, Rick, we're doing this. Did not know it. It's Rick. Do you like that?
And
It's
we
like-
just lost our one Scottish listener. Thank you. It was nice to see you. We loved you very much.
I did. I
Please
love
come
you.
back later.
You come back. That's all right.
Okay, one more quote because what
That's
you
fine.
just
We're
said
getting back in
reminded
time. We're going back in time. back in time to Outlander time.
me- Okay, so they're all going. All right, they're all
To a
going.
fortnight ago.
Oh Jesus!
God damn it.
We did say there would be shits and giggles. All right, so they're out to this dinner date, I guess, with Alex and what's her name? Miffy? Is that her name?
Miffy.
Miffy.
Yeah. Miffy.
Oh my God. Okay, so again with the British food and the slang. Alex bounced in his seat like a poorly trained beagle. I'm a dick man myself, thick and solid, piping hot, and slathered in what the French call crème anglaise. I was still having way too many Oliver-related emotions, and I couldn't not steal a peek at him. And of course, he didn't even look the slightest bit as if he was about to die from laughter in a room named after a dead Tory. I'll admit, oh God help me, his eyes were legitimately twinkling. That does sound good.
I'll take all the dicks. Thank you.
What is it? Is it like a? I forget how it was. What is it actually? Because spotted dick is like a dessert, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lee?
It's a pudding.
I was gonna say,
Lee,
like,
have you
what
had
is
spotted dick?
They make a lot of puddings. Like bread pudding is a big thing in England.
Bread pudding is delicious.
It is. It is. I used to make a summer bread pudding. I forgot, but somebody called it roadkill pudding. I mean, that was what somebody nicknamed it. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a rum pudding that you would soak the bread in rum.
I volunteer as tribute.
and then there's the classic figgy pudding.
Yes. Oh my God. So I'm a little real quick. So every Christmas, did you guys ever see the Christmas Carol with George C. Scott?
Yeah.
Either of you? So growing up with that, and when obviously he goes to the Christmas present, and they're eating dinner, and Mrs. Cratchit brings out the pudding, and he tastes it, and Bob tastes it, and he goes, "A triumph, my dear, a triumph." So my mom and I, every frigging Christmas, it's like, we'll try something. I'm like, "Yeah, a triumph, my dear, a triumph."
I love that so much.
Yes.
Yeah,
pudding.
my mother collects all of the Christmas carols.
My mom does too.
Oh my God, is it a mom thing?
It's a mom thing, although A Muppet Christmas Carol is my favorite Muppet. Anyhow,
I mean, it is the best. So fun fact, the Muppet Christmas Carol version
the most accurate.
is the most accurate. It is the preferred Christmas Carol version of the Charles Dickens House staff.
Yes! Yes!
Really?
Yes, in London.
Here's another weird thing. From the one that's on Disney Plus and the one that, oh shit, I forgot. They cut out When Love Is Gone.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them in their face because that's the best fucking song. Best fucking song.
I will
Anyhow.
have to. Honestly, I don't think I've
Wait,
ever
hold
seen-
on. What? Don't finish that fucking sentence. Are you serious?
I
At
wasn't
your
saying
own
anything.
risk.
Are we down a co-host now? Am I leaving? Am I walking out right now? Oh, yeah, you drink your wine. You drink your wine.
Veronica, are you being replaced?
Yeah, slink down.
Listener,
who also-
she is falling out of her chair slowly.
She's also... Veronica, how many Star Wars movies have you seen?
Ray, I've seen all of them.
Thank you.
Dear listeners, Veronica is being replaced by Lee. It was really good to know you. I'm so glad I got to be on this journey with you.
And Titanic sucked.
Thank you!
I'm just kidding.
King of the world up your butt. What? Anyhow.
He totally could have fit on that fucking door.
Yes! Thank you!
Oh my god.
This has been a roller coaster of emotions, guys.
Yeah.
Much like this book, you guys.
I think we need to move on
We probably
to
should.
ratings. Let's do ratings first, do stunt casting, and then do some recommendations. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I'm down.
All
Lee,
right.
is that okay with you, darling?
Yeah. What's
right.
the rating system?
Oh, we're going to tell you, bitch. All right, so we've got eggplants and hearts. So, eggplants.
I love
was
you
the-
assholes so much. I just truly...
What was the motion of the ocean, bitches? So the more that's happening is the bigger the eggplant. No, the more the eggplant. So 0 is going to be like fade to black. 5 is going to be like fucking smut. All right. So what I'm
straight
reading
up
now.
erotica.
So straddling a fucking
Throwing a
washer.
leg over it, straddling
Throwing
a
a leg
washer.
over it. Yep, America's ass. The hearts are what was, kind of warm and fuzzy. It's you.
Romantic.
My heart just pumped out of its chest and fell on the floor. It was so great.
Yeah.
So
when my cold, dead heart gets warm.
exactly. So Lee, give me some eggplants in my face.
Eggplants, bitches. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna say 2.5 for eggplants.
Okay.
Like we're halfway there.
We're living on a prayer.
Exactly. Exactly.
I've clapped a lot. This gonna be like a fucking that home song. Anyhow,
I love that song. It makes me really emotional.
it is a good song. There's a lot of clapping in it.
We played it at our wedding.
You did. You also played John Lennon, which we talked about last time. Anywho, Veronica, give me some fucking eggplants again in my face.
Whap.
That came up too
Yes, I know.
in our group chat this week. I believe I said Oliver cares not for my WAP. I believe
Yes.
that is what I said.
Yeah.
Plays
Yeah.
for my team.
He does play for your team. I mean, let's be honest. Like the hottest ones do. It's really unfair.
Richard Armitage. Anyhow.
Anthony Bridgerton.
Okay.
Okay,
Ma'am.
sorry.
Ma'am.
I'm gonna need you to not ma'am me. Okay. So eggplant. Okay, so I gave it 1 because it's just not explicit.
Co-signed.
It is hot. It's just not explicit, is all.
Co-signed.
So
Sorry.
hot though.
I mean, it was my con. I need a little in and out. Anyhow. Lee, give me some hearts.
5. This was
So beautiful.
Nice.
such a romantic book.
I'm so happy you liked it.
For the lack of sex, which I can find somewhere else.
Pornhub.
Although I really wanted to see more of it with Oliver and Luke. I'm telling you.
Right.
Word.
It was.
Because I don't have to hear some shitty moaning. That's fine.
It was just so romantic in a real way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Veronica?
So, I like 4.5, I would say, because like you were saying with Oliver at the end, like he wanted a grander gesture, but to me, like the emotional journey that Luke goes on, and then Oliver eventually goes through.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm a little biased because I really related to Luke, but
Yeah. Co-signed.
4.5 for you too.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm just waiting for husband material. I'm hoping husband material is going to be 5. So, all right. The real super fun part, guys. We're doing some stunt casting. All right. So let's do, we've done before, we've either done the whole characters at once. I think we should do character by character.
Yeah,
How
let's
do you
go
guys
character
feel?
by character. I agree with that. Lee,
All
are
right.
you okay with that, darling?
I am totally fine with it.
All right, so what I'm going to do, because you can't see our, well, yeah, you can. Have you gone to our Pinterest?
No.
So what I'm going to do is no.
No.
All right, Snape. Okay, so I'm going to put this, no.
No.
I'm putting this in the chat so you can see our stunt casting.
Okay.
While he's looking, my beautiful co-host, would you like to give me your Luke?
I don't know who you're talking to. Is it me? Or is it me?
Who's my co-host?
I don't know. I was usurped a little bit ago. So.
That's true. You were, bitch.
I will start. I will happily start. So
All right.
we're going with Luke first.
Yep.
Bitches. Okay, so
Sorry. I looked
Did
him
you
up. I
find
looked at him. Yes. I love it. I do love it. I do love it.
so this is who I pictured like the whole time. Like once
He is gay, FYI.
I didn't actually know. I
He's
wasn't
actually
sure.
he's pansexual. Yeah.
Okay, so I did choose some photos of bunny ears, by the way. But so I chose Ezra Miller, who
Nice. The Flash, bitch.
is he?
Yeah, he's in the new one. Yeah.
Okay, because like really, what I was thinking about was him in Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Oh.
So that's where I was coming from with it, but Ezra Miller. And then
So-
actually, when I got to the very last, like the end of the Kindle book, and I assume in paperback form as well, there's a photo of the two of them. Not a photo; it's like a drawing. Of
Oh,
the
I
two
just went by
characters.
the one on the cover.
I didn't. I
Is it-
like purposefully try not to look at what
Is it him in a chair?
he's like in some sort of chair. He's like sitting sideways in a chair.
Yeah. We've seen that.
And when I had already like gotten my stunt casting in my head by the time I got to that point, and then I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I felt like I did okay on it, I guess.
I'm gonna say something because I'm just gonna put this as a disclaimer. Ezra Miller, we know there's some issues with Ezra Miller, so we're just gonna put it out there because people are gonna be like, you know what? I'm just gonna. He might have punched a photographer, a female. Anyhow, it's fine, but because I'm gonna head that off at the pass.
Hey, do you
right now.
remember a couple books ago when I chose someone with an IMDb profile that was literally just his criminal record?
Yeah, I'm just gonna put that there because I don't want anybody being like, well, Ezra Miller did this, and
Okay,
I'd be like,
so
yeah,
FYI,
it's fine.
I didn't know. But,
She did, and that's fine. No,
Please,
it's
please
completely
refer
fine.
to Dirty English, where I discuss an actor who just has a massive criminal record.
She literally read the criminal
I
record.
read it.
So it's fine. I just want to, I want to just, if your finger's on the send, on the tweet, we got it. We understand. Thank you very much.
Noted. Thank you very much for your input.
Yeah. I also love Ezra Miller, even though I have a feeling he was super drunk. I have a feeling that's what this was. And everyone's allowed to be fucking drunk. And who knows what the whole, I'm not going to shame anybody. I don't know what the whole situation was, but we understand. We got it. Good. Anyhow, let's move on to Mr. Lee.
Movingon.org.
Yeah.
So we're on Luke, right?
We are on Luke.
Okay, I'm putting in something in the chat. My Luke is Harry Styles.
Oh, it's different. It's different than the one I thought. But I almost put him as a secondary.
So
yes.
listeners, we had a theory that Ray and I picked the same Luke.
We didn't, but
and we did not.
Almost had the, it's a sec. He was my second. He was my runner-up.
But, and I'm shocked.
I know. I'm kind of, but you know what? When you see mine, you're gonna be like, "Yep."
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be like, yes, please. So the thing with Harry Styles is Harry Styles is so like non-traditionally handsome. Mm-hmm. Like he's on the thinner side, which Luke is. He's not necessarily everyone's type. And I
Unless
wanted
you are on this podcast currently.
Exactly.
Because we talk about him a lot.
It's like, yes, please sign me up. I was trying to think of someone who doesn't necessarily appear to have it all together. You know what I mean? Like, he could be a mess, but he's also like really sexy in a unique way. And that's Harry Styles.
Nailed it. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Word.
Yep. I highly approve.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the person that I thought my friend Lee would pick is Jonathan Bailey.
Fuck me sideways Sunday.
Twice on Sunday, in fact.
I'm just going to put some picture up.
You're not kidding.
I'm kidding.
No, not even a little bit of that is kidding.
I mean, no,
God, he's so pretty.
He was the first person that popped in my head. I was like, yes, yes, Anthony Bridgerton, yes.
Yeah.
Because so for the listeners, because you won't know, is Oliver describes him as a young Robert Mapplethorpe.
Right.
So if you can look up Mapplethorpe, you kind of get an idea that he's like kind of like thin. Mapplethorpe was, I think he was good looking, but I mean, it's everyone's own opinion. But
I'm just staring at pictures of Anthony Bridgerton.
Thank you.
So that's my Luke. Luke. Let's move on to Oliver. Veronica, tell me you're Oliver.
All right, darling. So my Oliver is a dude I've never fucking seen before.
Okay.
But doesn't matter because he is extraordinarily attractive. I will put this here.
Oh, you've seen him.
Have I?
You keep going. Yes, you have. Talk about Twilight. You've seen him.
What? Mm-hmm. He was in Twilight?
Mm-hmm.
That's not Kellen Lutz. Who was he in Twilight?
No, you keep talking. I will find you.
Okay, you find it. So this dude's name is Alex Pettifer. And I actually brought up his IMDb because I was like, I don't know what the hell he's been in, but so sorry. He has been in a lot of shit I've never seen. Apparently he was in Magic Mike. Again, never seen that. I think we've established very well in this podcast that I have seen almost no movies. He was in some movie called I Am Number 4. I don't know.
Oh, I'm thinking of Cam Gadjanjet. Never mind.
Okay. Well, he is attractive.
Yes.
I Googled actors with gray eyes. He came up. You're welcome, everyone.
I mean, I want to climb him like a tree and forage for honey.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Hello. I did legitimately look up photos to see if he had a V-cut. And he does. So, you're welcome.
Cum gutters.
I'm just like, those cum gutters work, y'all. I'm just saying.
Yep.
They
Do you
are
think your
for
mom
me.
will ever talk to you again?
They are functional.
Are you going to tell when are you going to tell your mom you were on this podcast? 2, will she speak to you again?
No, the question is, how many of these books will my mom actually read?
Oh my God, that's right. I forgot about that. Lee's mom loves 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh my gosh. My
can
mother
you tell her about our
loves-
podcast, please?
Yeah, Please tell her to tell all of her friends about our podcast.
Maybe
too.
skip
Thank you very
episode
much.
11.
This one. Am I up? Are we talking about Oliver?
You are. Yes, we're talking about Oliver. Who's
Oliver.
your Oliver?
Oh my God. Okay, here's the thing in the chat. My Oliver is Richard Madden.
Dick.
Richard Madden is the ideal man. So here's a quote from the book. Oliver was much as I remembered him, a cool, clean, modern art piece of a man entitled Disapproval in Pinstripes.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. I'm like, oh.
So
He's so pretty.
So Richard Madden he's from Game of Thrones.
Rocket Man.
Rocket Man, and he also did this awesome show called The Bodyguard.
Bodyguard, yes.
And apparently he's like very conscious of being objectified. And
Do you know what he is? He's
what he like. So
he's Scottish.
So I'm sorry, but it makes me wonder how celebrities feel about people imagining them having sex with other celebrities. Or
I mean,
I'm
Yeah,
like,
I mean-
and I think about sex an appropriate amount of time, which is always, but it's like,
Co-signed.
co-signed.
but I mean, I can see Richard Madden like being very sulking, like you see Oliver doing a couple times.
Well,
And
I think we all think because of what's his nuts, Jamie Dornan from 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh
Because
my God!
he was
wait,
so-
he was also in Cinderella.
that's right.
Lee,
Yeah.
you came to see Cinderella with me on my 30th birthday,
Yeah, that
wearing
happened.
a prom dress.
That's right. There was that.
The man can sing too, FYI. You know, he can.
I mean, he can sing from any time. But I also chose him because I could see how he might be very intimidating. Like if you look
Oh,
at him the
absolutely.
wrong way, he will like cut you down.
Yeah.
So that's my Oliver.
I love it. So you guys are probably not going to know this gentleman. That's fine, because I would love to introduce you to him. So I'm going to mine so that I can send it to you in the chat. So I've known him because he's in Death Comes to Pemberley, which is amazing. The book is great, and also is the miniseries that was made with the guy from The Americans, and I can't think of what she's from. She's amazing, but it's fantastic. I'm trying to find him. Here, I'm gonna put it in the chat. Here's my little Pinterest. And of course, his name is James Norton.
Oh,
And he is usually playing
what is the show that was on
right now.
PBS? Like kind of around the same time Downton Abbey was. Damn it, I'll look it up. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. Right now he's playing in The Nevers on HBO, and if you have not seen it, it's fantastic. I like it, even though it's done by Joss Whedon, who we all hate. Yeah, although I'm telling you right
he was
now.
in Little Women.
Yes, he played Meg's husband. Yes. He's fantastic. And I just see him. He's tall.
Grantchester.
He's thin.
Grantchester.
Yes. Yes, he's Grantchester. Yes. So I just pictured him. I mean, he's a little old now, but I mean, think of him when he was young. Throw a fucking leg over it.
Okay, hey.
So
He was born in the same year that I was born in.
I mean, for this book, I'm older than all you fuckers. Anyhow,
Oliver's 31.
Yeah. So I'm all like, super excited that everyone's like, Sebastian, he has 38. I was like, all right, okay, call him 40. So he
Sebastian's
so on the Nevers, he plays this kind of like pansexual character where he's like, it's again really good. You should watch it. But so you can see like how he's just like, I like sex with anybody, but at the same time, like just because I can see him being with a man. Yeah. So. James Norton. He's hot.
He is hot.
I'm on board.
And I also have seen his V cut now. Thank you. Yay.
You're welcome.
Thanking you.
All right, so Lee, give me your Odile.
Oh man. Okay.
That's Luke's mom. We didn't really
Yes.
say that very much. Yeah.
Luke's mom, this fabulous French woman. I don't have a link to share, but
That's fine. We'll look it up.
my Luke's mom is Jennifer Saunders, who plays
Yes!
Adina Monsoon in Absolutely Fabulous.
Yes, Abfab. Yes.
This, I mean, I was
yes.
I could go with either one of them.
Yes.
But
Patsy
I
or
was
Adina.
like,
Yes.
it is Jennifer Saunders. This is a woman who doesn't give a crap about what other
Nope.
people think. She is
Nope.
fierce. She's strong. She'll speak her mind in your face, in her own way, you know. And she's so, again, like, she's so funny with her English and her French, and she loves her son more than anything. And you can just tell.
Adorable.
Love it.
I do. I love it.
Veronica?
So this was mildly influenced by the fact that I've seen her. I don't actually know. She might be French, but I've seen this woman play a French woman. And so it just, like, once it was in my brain, there was no going back. Yeah. Her name is Isabel Hubbard. Here, I'll put this in the chat. She's great. She's been in a lot of stuff. The role I'm thinking of, she was on an episode of Law and Order SVU when I was still able to emotionally.
Who hasn't been?
handle-
I think I was, but I was on an episode.
I was
of
too.
Law.
I mean, you know.
Seriously, come on. Anyhow.
But anyway, she she was really great in that episode, and that's like what stuck in my brain. I just couldn't get it out once it was in there.
Can I ask real quick, what was the episode about?
So dark, you guys. Everything about that show is so dark.
No, I mean, yeah, well, yeah.
She plays the mother of a child that gets kidnapped, and it's just not.
Did they get
really
murdered,
not
or
a-
was it like just kidnapped? Because that's the other thing that happens with that show.
Later murdered.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
It's horrible. It's really fucking horrible. It's like one of the episodes that broke me from that show.
God.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really bad.
She was in the movie Greta. Do you remember that?
Oh!
Literally the reverse.
Lee, do you remember you and I seeing the fucking trailer for that movie?
And we were like, is this a joke?
Like, we actually said, is this Dateline? What's happening?
What is this?
So, for the listener, the reason that the three of us haven't seen each other for a year, the last time we saw each other, we all do an Oscar night, where we're at Oscar Day. Where
I think we've talked about this in the podcast.
we
before, a little
have,
bit,
so,
like
yeah.
tangentially.
But for new listeners, we watch. So Lee and I usually see three movies, and then Veronica joins us for one, and then we have dinner. So the last one we saw Little Women and cried like bitches.
Oh
Yep.
my
It's fine.
god.
Oh my God, we cried, and this was before COVID was really. It was February of last year, and so it was like before we really knew that it was a thing, and then like all of us were just like passing tissues like down. I mean, not used, but like just so all the tissues. Because I'm a mom, I have a fucking bag of tissues with me at all times. I mean,
And I'm still hydrating after that.
yeah, yeah. Also, after that, I came home and watched. After my daughter was in bed, I watched Miss Americana on Netflix. So all I did was cry the entire weekend. Basically, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. It was really beautiful.
So it happens.
But I will say this year, how we substituted that experience was that we all watched. I got to be present for 3 movies instead of just one, and we watched them in multiple weeks over Zoom.
Yes.
So we would like press play on the movie and then like mute all of our Zooms and then watch the movie together. It was lovely, and I very much enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree.
Would recommend.
Yes,
Would
10
recommend,
out of 10.
100%.
Recommend.
Oh my God.
Ray, do we have your Odile yet?
No, sure. So mine's not that exciting. I mean, I just found I literally looked up like 70s folk singers from that time. I'm looking at yours. Hold on, I gotta go to Mike because I don't remember who it is. come the fuck on. Veronica, that's you. That's you. Here's me. So mine is, I don't even know who she is. I'm just gonna put this in here. I seriously don't know who this person is. She's adorable. She's a singer. She's hold on. I will figure out her name. Okay, there it is. This is dead air. This is great, guys.
I have
Great.
hold on in my head now.
One more day.
Yep.
I love it. It just says La Chanteuse Sheila, circa
She's pretty.
19. Yeah. I think her name is Sheila. I think that was her performing name was Sheila.
Her whole name.
Yeah, her whole name. But I mean,
I can
I
see
can
that.
see it.
Yeah,
I can see it.
that.
I can see it. So you look up 70s like folk singer. She was a French singer. And she has one of those long cigarettes that are amazing and has a little So La Sheila. There you go.
I like it. I see it.
All right. So Lee, give me your John Fleming. I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh. So for my Oliver, I picked a Scottish man, Richard Madden.
Yep.
For my John Fleming, I picked an Australian,
All right.
Nice.
Russell Crowe.
Oh, okay. I see
see
it.
it.
I see it.
I see it.
Because we know more about him now and what a jerk he can be.
He was like,
I just thought
Yeah.
Russell Crowe makes a great, terrible father who constantly lets his son down. Like,
Holler.
the disappointment
Yep.
is like hardcore. Such a jerk. And you can just see
And they get
Russell Crowe
fat.
being pompous and trying
Yep.
to turn everything he did onto his son, like every neglectful, hurtful thing, into blaming the victim.
and this time I don't have to put a disclaimer on it, but do you remember that he punched a fucking a hotel worker?
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah. I don't have to put a disclaimer on that one. He's a fucking dickhead.
Yeah, totally. The end.
Awful. I mean, good job, but
I also had the fucking biggest crush on him my sophomore year of college.
Oh my
Just
God,
find out where-
Gladiator?
I had a poster of Gladiator in my fucking
God,
college
dude.
dorm room.
I had my
I
ass
wanted-
up in the air for that.
I wanted to do him every fucking which way till Sunday. Yes.
excuse me, are we going to overlook the fact that Lee just said I had my ass up in the air for that?
No, I did too, for God's sakes. Happened.
Not just a gay thing.
Not just a gay thing. No, it's not just a
Sorry,
gay
not
thing.
sorry. What he wanted to do it back then.
I said what I said.
I said what I said.
We're better friends for it.
That
Beauti-
should really be the tagline of the show. I said what I said. We're better friends for it.
Beautiful. My beautiful friend Veronica. Okay, I have to put that. Baby, what do you got for Luke? Or not Luke, John.
I chose Richard Curtis, who I'll put this in the chat. He, I always think of Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean when I think of Richard.
You mean Bill Nighy? You be Bill Nighy.
What?
It's Bill Nighy.
What?
Oh yes, I'm sorry. Yes, the character that he's playing, like in
It's
Bill Nighy.
Curtis.
Yes,
Bill Nighy. Yeah.
yes. I'm sorry. You are correct. I mixed up my names. Bill
That's
Nighy.
fine.
Yes.
So people get no. I mean,
Yeah. No, you're correct. So Bill Nighy. He's been in tons of things. Very prolific
it's-
actor, but
if it's a shitty American movie, he's been in it.
yeah. He
Underworld. Come on.
Oh right. Was he also in? Hang on, let me put him back in IMDb. He was in Love Actually.
He was. Well, that's what that's from, right?
I think you're right. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Ray.
Yes,
Who was your
ma'am.
John Fleming?
So my John Fleming, I chose Billy Bragg, and again, you guys, if it's one of those, he is a 70s. I'm going to put him in the chat. But, I mean, if you look at him, you're like, he kind of looks like Robert Mapplethorpe as a young man, actually. So, so you can see how many, like, again, he was, I almost, for a hot minute, almost put in Ricky Gervais because Ricky Gervais was in an 80s pop group called Sorona Rising, Sorona something. You guys don't understand how he's a divisive figure. I understand, but I want to throw a leg over Ricky Gervais so bad.
You do love him so much.
I do. I mean, I don't care if the fucking bastard is 80 years old. I will still do him so hard. It's not even funny. Like, I love Ricky Gervais.
Respect,
I get it.
Ray.
Siona Dancing.
Respect.
This is called Siona Dancing. But because for one, he calls fucking Hollywood out on this bullshit. Like, I love the fucking right took that and ran with it. But I'm like, it's what we're all thinking. I mean, it's the Oscars were down 70% for viewership this year. That should tell you something. We don't fucking care anymore. We don't care. Like, you're rich, awesome. Like, but he, neither. Anyhow.
So I was looking at his IMDb, and it says that he was on an episode of New Girl, but I don't think that that's right.
Who? Ricky Gervais?
No.
Billy Bragg?
Billy Bragg. Mm. He was in Paper Towns. And Love and Other Drugs.
Mm.
But it says that it says performer California Star. So it
could have been his song.
His music. Yeah, his music must have been in it. Okay. So that's probably all his music was in it, and I'm just not reading this properly. Yeah.
But, unfortunately, I think that happens here quite often. I mean, you see, like, Liv Tyler. I mean, Liv Tyler was the one who was like, hey, I'm beautiful, FYI. And my father happens to be Steven Tyler. But you see that quite often here. But I think in England, because it's so small, it happens a lot more.
It's a small island.
It is a small island with a lot more fucking accents that I can't even... It blows my mind. Blows my mind.
Well, and it's also why the paparazzi are so powerful.
But I have a question for you. Do you think it's like worse there than it is here?
I don't know the answer to that.
I have a feeling it's
English
worse here.
Listeners, please talk to us about your paparazzi.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's worse here.
I don't know. I really don't know.
I
am fortunate enough to not be so famous that paparazzi give a flying fuck about me. So,
now.
Which is how I like it. So
now.
Yeah, I feel like I don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to talking about that because nobody knows who I am.
Nobody gives a shit.
We do, and we love you. So are we ready to move on to recommendations? So, because we're going to take a break, and we are going to come back with some wonderful recommendations.
Holla.
Right. We'll back in 2 and 2.
Bye-bye.
Love you.
Hello, we're back.
And we're back.
We're back.
These gorgeous people.
You guys are so pretty.
I know. So
my beautiful friends.
This is where we talk about other beautiful people.
It is.
So we talk about people that we want to recommend. If you don't recommend boyfriend material, which we all think we all recommend.
I think we all recommend boyfriend material. Yeah.
Would recommend.
What? 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I was just going to say.
On Yelp. Yep. That's right.
So, my beautiful friends. Lee, do you have a book to recommend? I don't care what it is. If you want to recommend, like, fucking...
The George Washington biography?
Yeah, in 1984, I don't care.
I mean, if you're into it and you can get through it, I would recommend it. Yeah, absolutely. It's like
Hamilton?
It's like infinite jest length. So
no.
However,
in fact, I actually use infinite jest for an infinite joke this week, so it's fine. What?
Yeah, I
kiss.
actually did finish Infinite Jest, and
Of course you did.
I
You also
never-
finished Les Mis, which is the only book I've ever not finished.
never have to do it again. However, I do have a serious recommendation, and it's not your average romance
I
novel.
just realized we're watching him give this recommendation. There's fucking degrees behind him.
There are degrees. Literally, all of his degrees are hanging on the wall behind him. All of them,
you.
by the way. All of them.
So my husband said on a family Zoom call, he said, you should put on like a virtual background for Zoom. And I'm like, why the fuck? I paid so much for the one that I got.
Legit. There's
Legit.
like tens of thousands of dollars worth of pieces of paper
Fucking
hanging on the wall
shit.
behind me.
Yeah.
This coming from the doctor. Your husband is a doctor.
He is. He's an actual doctor.
He's like a
But I was
legitimate
like laughing.
doctor.
I was looking and was like, fuck you, dude. I love you, but fuck
An
you.
actual MD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No, I mean, not fuck.
my book recommendation is it's a book by his name is Ocean Vuong, and it's called On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, and it's a novel.
Ooh. I like it.
I read this book a year or two ago, and I found it on Amazon. I'm just gonna read the description because it's a beautiful book. So here's the description. On Earth, We're Briefly Gorgeous is a letter from a son to a mother who cannot read. Written when the speaker, Little Dog, is in his late 20s, the letter unearths a family's history that began before he was born, a history whose epicenter is rooted in Vietnam and serves as a doorway into parts of his life his mother has never known, all of it leading to an unforgettable revelation. At once a witness to the fraught yet undeniable love between a single mother and her son, it is also a brutally honest exploration of race, class, and masculinity, asking questions central to our American moment, immersed as we are in addiction, violence, and trauma, but undergirded by compassion and tenderness. On Earth, We're Briefly Gorgeous is as much about the power of telling one's own story as it is about the obliterating silence of not being heard. With stunning urgency and grace, Ocean Vuong writes of people caught between disparate worlds and asks how we heal and rescue one another without forsaking who we are. The question of how to survive and how to make it a kind of joy powers the most important debut novel of many years. So for me, it was like, it's a more serious book than Boyfriend Material.
Than literally anything we read here on this podcast.
Yeah. Smart.
But it's still it's the character's gay, and it really just stabs you with emotional vulnerability. And so if you want to be exposed that way, I highly recommend it.
I think that book would break me.
That's fair. Break you like Captain America's ass.
Snap you.
Thank you.
Crack. What
Thank
is
you.
the thing that we
Thank
read
you.
on Addiction?
Crack you like a fucking glow stick.
Yes, I would
you.
snap respectfully. He could snap my back like a glow stick.
Amen.
Baby, give me your recommendation.
Are you talking to me now, my love?
Yes, my love. Baby, give me your recommendation.
So my recommendation is from Megan Quinn, and I'm super excited about this one. Well, I mean, I read this one a while back, but she just came out with another one that is like, it's not really a series, but like they're in the same world. So the one that I'm going to recommend is See Me After Class. Poor Ray
Which
could
I
not
can't-
get into. She just could not do it.
I can't.
It's fine. You don't have to.
It's fine. It's the whole. I'm sorry. Hold on. It's the party at the beginning. It
Yeah.
just bothers me.
There is like a party at the beginning that I didn't particularly enjoy. It's called See Me After Class by Megan Quinn. It's, I'll just read this Amazon description. It says, "Did you have relations with my brother? Good question. I'd like to preface this by saying it was never my intention to get involved in a workplace romance, let alone get involved with the most surly, agitating, and pompous man I've ever met, who just so happens to be my new friend's brother. My intentions were to show students how English and reading books could actually be fun and make a new life for myself in the suburbs of Chicago. But so far, I've managed to be called into the principal's office, coerced into participating in the teachers' badminton league, and instigated into passionate fights with Arlo Turner over education and decorum while losing my underwear at the same time. Known as Mr. Turns Me On, he's the reason I might get fired from my first ever teaching job. So it's about, I'm forgetting the woman's name right now, but it's about Arlo and, damn it, why is Greer coming to my mind? I don't know if that's right, though.
Because that's what it's in the first book.
Oh, it is Greer. Oh, shit. It is Greer. So, I don't know. That Ray just pulled that right out of my head. I haven't read this book in months. All right. So anyway, it's about Greer and Arlo. They're very opposite in their teaching styles, but he's like the head of the English department at the high school they teach at. Lots of Pride and Prejudice references. It's opposites attract, workplace romance. It's great. At least I liked it. So anyway, she has.
No, read it. I mean, it's not me. It's
everybody. No, it's fine. Like, we all have different tastes. I wasn't trying to make a comment directed at you, sweetheart. I love you too. It's just like, I enjoyed it, although I can definitely understand. Like, there's a party scene at the beginning that I didn't love. It feels like immature and ridiculous, but other than that, like, once I got past that, then I was fine. So anyway, you were introduced to two characters in See Me After Class that have their own book. So the second book, like I said, it's not really a series, but the next one is called Earn Your Extra Credit, and that one just came out. So I already downloaded it, but I haven't read it yet. Yeah, so that follows her friend Stella, and then a friend of Arlo's who also teaches there. I think he's like the phys ed teacher. Yeah, so anyway, See Me After Class, and then I want to read Earn Your Extra Credit.
Lovely.
That was lovely.
What about you, Ray?
So I have two. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna make this quick.
We literally had to take a break from recording this podcast because I was coughing up my lung in the other room. So
I don't want you to die.
You don't need to apologize for clearing your throat.
So both are historic male romance. So so the first is Think of England by K.J. Charles. So if anybody knows
what was me or her?
I did nothing, so I have no. It must be
Isn't
you.
that a thing?
So,
lie back and think of England.
Yes. So yes, you're right. And that's what this whole thing is about. So thank you, beautiful.
Sorry.
All right. So I'm gonna read a little bit about Think of England, just so you know. Both are MM, so I'm gonna say I'm gonna flex my MM muscles right now. England, 1904, 2 years ago, Captain Archie Curtis lost his friend's fingers and future to a terrible military accident. Alone, purposeless, and angry, Curtis is determined to discover if he and his comrades were the victims of fate or of sabotage. So, Think of England is a little bit more. It's an MM, so FYI. But the other one I'm going to recommend is The Magpie Lord, which is a historical MM, but it's more along the lines of, it's like a fantastical. Exiled to China for 20 years, Lucien Vaudrey never planned to return to England, but with the mysterious death of his father and brother, it seems the new Lord Crane has inherited an earldom. He's also inherited his family's enemies. He needs magical assistance fast. He doesn't expect it to turn up angry. So the second one is more like fantastical, but like I said before, it's historical, but it's the feeling is male isn't so weird in the second one, but the first one is more along the lines of like, this is how it was, and so two guys like each other, but at the same time, it's tough because England was more accepting of male before we were.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I enjoyed both very much. So, KJ Charles writes a lot of male romances. So I would recommend both of those two.
I love that. Cross those swords.
Love that. Cross those.
I love it.
Love you.
So, in this last bit of nonsense, we have a couple things to do. So we have, I want to recommend some podcasts. Do you want to recommend some podcasts?
Yeah, do it. I don't have any this week because I am unprepared.
So my other beautiful
See, this is what I'm saying. It's not.
Who's replacing my other podcast host? So
I have to watch
kidding.
8 Star Wars movies before I can earn my way back onto the podcast.
Right. So Lee, do you have a podcast that you recommend?
I recommend the Chick Lit Book Club podcast.
No, you're an asshole. I love you, but you're an asshole.
Fuck yeah.
I love you.
No, really, I listen to this. I sometimes get behind, but I always catch up.
As every podcast.
And it's just so fun. And it's so fun to be here, to be part of it. But I will keep listening.
You are adorable and I love you,
I
but
love you.
fuck you.
Fuck off, you beautiful person.
So, however, yes, please listen to the fucking podcast. If you're here, then welcome. Since we talked about
boobs look so big right now.
Your boobs look amazing.
It's like the print on the shirt. It's just like
Yeah.
they do look big, and I love it.
Staring at them. I'm so sorry.
I kind of want to squeeze them.
Boop, boop.
I'm not lying. I kind of want to squeeze them.
I mean,
It happens. I mean, come on. It
I'm
happens.
so sorry. I just was very distracted.
I'm
Please
just
talk
now.
about your podcast.
I'm super.
Well, we are.
No, I'm
we
super
are
dis-
human beings, you know.
I'm super distracted now. I want to look at your boobs.
Breasts and penises and balls and vaginas.
So, speaking of all those
Got 'em.
things, got him. Gotta catch them all. So we're talking about cum gutters, right? We're talking about V cuts, right? So we talked about V cuts and cum gutters tonight. I'm going to talk
And
about the
Pornhub.
Flophouse. No, we talked about that too. We're going to talk about the Flophouse Podcast because that is where I heard about cum gutters for the first time. What?
Thank
So-
you, Flophouse.
Yeah, thank you.
Where would
So
we
the
be without you?
Right? So the Flophouse is made up of 3 people. 2 are writers for The Daily Show. 1 actually is no longer for The Daily Show and has written for the new season of Mystery Science Theater 2000 on Netflix. And those of you who know me, which you probably don't, I fucking love MST3K and I love riff tracks. So the fact that there's a fucking writer of MST3K who has a podcast is amazing to me. And then the other one who introduced me to cum gutters owns bars in New York. So the next time all 3 of us in New York, we need to go to the Hinterlander bar in New York City. But it's called the Flophouse Podcast. I would completely recommend it. They watch bad movies and they talk about it. So what's nice about the Flophouse is they watch new movies. So usually the ones who are on like short, like very close to DVD release or have been released. So recently, the most recent guest has been Joel Hodgson, which, again, if you know MST through K, is the original Joel on Mystery Science Theater 2000. So, again, these two assholes probably have no idea what I'm talking about. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? No?
I mean, I know what Mystery Science Theater is.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm aware.
So I'm married to a nerd,
Okay.
so.
Cool. I'm just a big asshole myself. It's fine. But I would recommend the Flophouse. You can only get it on the purple icon. So, and speaking of
What does
the
that
purple
mean?
icon,
The Apple Podcasts?
is the purple icon. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So speaking
I'm
of
up
the
with the
purple,
lingo, you kids. Hello there, fellow kids.
so purple icon. Speaking of, let's talk about where you can find our bitch asses.
Our dumbasses.
So, baby,
yes, darling.
where can you find our asses?
You can find our belligerent, mildly tipsy, maybe drunk at this point, asses.
At this point, yes.
At www.chicklitbookclubpodcast.com. You can check us out on Twitter at chicklitpodcast. You can see us on TikTok at chicklitbookclub. On Pinterest, check out our stunt casting and our Spank Naughty lists at Chicklit Book Club Podcast. Please email us your thoughts, perhaps concerns, recommendations to chicklitbookclubpodcast@gmail.com. We know we have mental illness. We know we like enemies to lovers. You can just skip that part and just move on to something else. And then YouTube. I'm not reading that URL too because y'all are smart. Just look
off.
for...
Please don't leave fucking porn. Thank you.
Don't leave porn comments. Just, please. Ray just has to go and delete them. Can you just not?
And
She has enough to do.
I have my own porn to look at. Thank you very much.
It's better than
Yeah, the
crap
porn
that-
you post sucks, so stop it.
Can you
Yeah,
post?
right?
Actually, you know what? Can you post better porn?
It involves Sebastian Stan. Thank you very much. Next on.
Cosign. I mean, I don't know what else to say beyond that. We should say. So for the past couple of weeks, we've been referencing the fact that we're not using the spinning wheel because we've had like arcs come up, and we knew that we wanted Lee to be on the podcast, and we chose this one for him. And there was another one, I forget. We did like Shel Sloan's book and Emily McIntyre's book, and those were because they were releasing books around the time. We have been talking since the beginning of this podcast about doing a Mariana Zapata book. And we weren't sure which one we were going to do. But then she just like...
She fucking released it!
She was just like, here, I'm going to Taylor Swift all of you and just drop this fucking 500-page book in your laps. And I was like, Ray, this is it. Ray, we're doing this one. We're doing this one now. And so it's called All Roads Lead Here. I can't fucking wait.
Hold on. Oh, shit.
Okay.
She's dancing. She's doing the maniac dance, you guys. She also almost knocked over all of her shit.
I did. There's a drink in the garbage. Don't worry
The
about
pets are
Don't worry about
concerned.
The pets
Yeah.
are very concerned. All the cats ran, and
Yeah, it's
Luna
fine.
is concerned.
It's fine.
So anyway, super excited about this one. The link will be in the bio as per usual, in the description of the episode. So this is her newest one. It's called All Roads Lead Here. If you've never read Mariana Zapata, she's the queen of the slow burn.
Oh yeah.
Always
It's
a slow
500
burn.
pages.
Always 500 pages. This is one of the reasons why we do a bi-weekly podcast as opposed to like a weekly podcast. First of all, we have jobs, and
We ain't
like
got time for that.
we cannot read a book a week and also record a podcast and edit it and whatever. But for things like Mariana Zapata, like you might need a couple weeks to read a book like that. You might need longer, and that's also fine. Again, read at your own speed, do your own thing. But if you've not read Mariana Zapata, I highly recommend like everything she's ever written. I've not read a single book that Mariana Zapata has written that I have not enjoyed. There are a couple that I've not read them all, but between Ray and I, we've read the majority of work that she has published.
You've read more the new ones. I haven't read the new ones.
So from Luke
Did you read Under Lock?
No, I did not. I have not read Under Lock. I've not read. There was another one that one of the book talkers was recommending, and now I don't remember because I always. Oh, Wait for It. I've not read.
Yeah.
That's the one she was talking about. But we have read Lingus.
I love that fucking book.
Lingus is so good. It's about a porn star, a woman who befriends a porn star. Okay, did you read From Luke Off with Love?
No.
Oh, you should. Oh, God, it's so good. The quintessential, like, I think one of my favorite books of all time, The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. I would climb Aiden like a tree. And then, Jesus, what else? Colty. God damn it, Colty. Oh, very close second. Very close second. Would also climb him like a tree. That angry German. So, at any rate, Maria Zapata is like, she's a fucking queen. And I cannot wait to talk about how much I love her.
This book is 500 pages long.
I'm going to love every goddamn word. I also follow her author page on Facebook, and I told her that it was next on my TBR, and she commented hearts back at me, and I died a little bit inside.
Hey, Lee, you want to come back for
Do you want to read a 500-page slow burn?
I'll read it.
I love you. You are so
Wait,
supportive.
hold on, because if you say that,
You're going to be on the podcast.
you're going to be on the fucking podcast.
You poor thing.
Well, we put you in a spot right now. All right, guys.
Yeah, dude. So anyway, that's what's coming
So-
up next on the podcast. All roads lead here. It just came out like earlier this month, I think. It's about a woman starting over in a small town in the mountains. Maybe gets a crush on her landlord.
I mean, it happens.
It happens. It is what it is, you know?
All right. So, as we say on this podcast, and has been quoted from Straight from the Heart.
Bye! We're the worst.